Hello and welcome to Unscripted Logic, episode 33, the first Halloween edition. I am your host, Social Assassin, and with me as always,
Pablo, Picasso. Hold on. Can you hear me? Hold on.
I can hear you. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. So first off, we obviously want to send prayers to the people in Florida. And I believe Pablo has something to say about that. So before we get into all the Halloween stuff, let's get serious. But we have a lot of great stuff for you. Spooky stories, real life stories, Scream, Halloween, other slasher films. Great stuff coming. But Pablo, take it away, my friend.
Okay, hold on 1 second. I got a whole thing to play.
Salute, Fresh Coast.
Let me pull this up.
Yep.
Okay, so. Let's full screen it.
Yo. Pickasso. Here we go.
On this day in history.
Let's go.
Yes. So, well, first off, kind of side tangent, but I had another thing planned, but YouTube decided against it. So,
Yeah.
even though it was on unlisted and it's a compilation of videos I found on YouTube, apparently, it, cyberbullying and I don't know who it's harassing or bullying, but
Especially since you didn't do it.
I know, but whatever. YouTube's bugging. So today, 1945, the first patent was filed for the microwave. 1956, New York Yankees Don Larson pitches the only World Series perfect game. 2001, the Office of Homeland Security is founded, and we know why. 2014, the first person in U.S. diagnosed with Ebola dies.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Also, today marks, I'll get to that after. 1967, Che Guevara is captured by the Bolivian army.
Oh, shit.
And then there's a couple other things, but 1970, communists reject Nixon's peace proposal.
Now, this is getting somewhere, guys.
Yes, I think the biggest thing that happened on this day was in 1871, the Great Chicago Fire began in the barn of Patrick and Catherine O'Leary. And by the time the blaze died out 2 days later, a swath of the city had been devastated and over 300 people were killed.
Damn. Yep, I know about that story.
So I just think, it's cool to look back on, history, things that happen, especially it's like, oh, today in history, after doing the DB Tuber one, I was like, oh, it's kind of cool. But also,
speaking of the DB Tuber, episode 32, there was an editing issue, and but it's reverting back, and we're gonna have it back up shortly, so don't worry about that.
It's like our best episode.
It's our best episode. So if you didn't watch it or if you didn't finish it, episode 32, I definitely will update you guys on when it's back up.
Yeah. Sorry.
And the views were moving fast too.
I know. That's what's crazy is So it got hit with a copyright for a 6-second clip. And then they had to edit that out.
Yep.
And, yeah, it's just ridiculous, bro.
Yeah, it
YouTube's
is.
been bugging. The same thing with giving me a community guidelines warning, automatically removing a video. Like, bro, it's on unlisted. It's not even like no one can watch it. I only have 230 subscribers anyway, so I don't even I don't even get it. But anyway, oh, what are some of these? Let's see. October 8th. Oh, Jesse Jackson was born. Oh, R.L. Stein, 1943,
Nice.
American author.
Yep. Yep.
Matt Damon, 1970. Matt Damon was born also. 1982, the Polish legislature dissolved to the Trade Union Solidarity, which subsequently became an underground organization and played a key role in ending communist rule in Poland. 1970, Alexander Iziafovich Solzhenitsyn was awarded the Nobel Prize.
All right, this is enough useless information.
Okay, I know, but I really wanted to get into the Chicago fire shit because that was crazy. And yeah, man, it especially with what's going on.
What's going on down in Florida,
now.
man? Like Reginald Foreman, he's down in Florida. Bless, prayers to him, and I, like I literally shared that thing on my community tab for people who are down there, and man, and Reginald actually responded. I didn't even know he was from Florida, so like the fact, damn, it's like that, and then Hurricane Milton's gonna be even worse, and that's about to hit. So this shit's fucking, this shit's wild. But
hold on, just some facts about it. 1871, the fire killed approximately 300 people, destroyed roughly 3.3 square miles of the city, including 17,000 structures. The fire began in the neighborhood southwest of the city center, left more than 100,000 residents homeless. A long period of hot, dry, windy conditions and in the wooden construction prevalent in the city led to the conflagration spreading quickly. The fire leapt the south branch of the Chicago River and destroyed much of central Chicago, then crossed the mainstream of the river, consuming the near north side.
Okay.
Crazy.
That is absolutely. I know all about that. I read up on that a lot.
Right. I remember learning about it in school, like how barn, basically one barn catching on fire, fucking literally like wiped out the whole city. It's like Jesus, bro. It's like the fire had said to have started at 8:30 p.m. on October 8th, and around a small barn. City officials never determined the cause of the blaze, but the rapid spread of the fire due to long drought in the year's summer, the strong winds, basically,
Mm-hmm.
And because all the structures were made out of wood, so it was just like it was just like the perfect recipe for disaster,
That's
wow.
a fact.
It said in 1871, the Chicago Fire Department had 180 firefighters, 185 firefighters, with 17 horse-drawn stream pumpers. So there was no fucking way they were putting out this fire.
No way.
An alarm sent from the area near the fire also failed to register at the courthouse where the fire watchmen were. So they didn't even get the alarm that there was like a fire going on.
Right. It's insane, man. And it's unfortunate things like that happen, and a lot of people lose a lot of things, and it just reminds you of things like Hurricane Katrina, and it's just it's tough, man. And luckily, being in the Northeast, we don't really experience stuff like that. We get really bad storms, but like it's not like that. Like we get snow and ice storms and shit, but I don't know. It's a different kind of storm, I guess. But we get bad hurricanes, but like not like that.
Right.
But so Now, one thing I wanted to get into real quick, before we get into the theme song. So, the origin of trick-or-treating, right? Because I always wondered, like, what was the reason that people decided to give out candy, right? So what I got here is there's actually the tradition of trick-or-treating has multiple origins, right? So I found a couple pretty interesting. Let's see.
Right. It's like I was looking up the origins of the Ouija board last night, and that shit's crazy. I'm gonna have to say
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about that. I don't even know. I don't want to bring that energy to the show.
Right. Crazy.
But in medieval England, children and poor adults would go door to door on All Saints' Day, offering prayers or songs in exchange for food and money. In return, families would give them pastries called soul cakes. Let's see. There was where's the one I'm really looking for? But anyway, you know what? Okay, so the phrase trick-or-treat likely originated from pranks played by people in the 19th century. These pranks included rattling windows and tying doors shut, and were often intended to look supernatural. Some people offered candy to protect their homes from these pranksters because they knew they were kids just fucking with them, you know? So they were like, fuck it, maybe if we leave some candy for them, they'll leave us alone. The earliest known use of the phrase trick-or-treat in connection with Halloween was in a 1927 newspaper article in Alberta, Canada. So they were basically saying, yo, if you guys don't want them fucking with your house, then you got to give them treats. And then it ended up becoming a holiday. So it's kind of like Purge for kids. It's kind of like the Purge for kids, right?
No, what it reminds me of a little is, the New Orleans, the Axeman of New Orleans.
Okay.
You know what I mean? How they're like,
Yeah.
oh, if you don't want him to come murder you, like play. He basically wrote a letter to the papers and were like, I will not like hurt anyone from any house that is playing jazz, basically. So the whole city, everyone made sure that the house was bumping all night. They would be playing jazz as loud as they could. They were getting together and having parties because of the Axeman. Like they didn't want to get murdered. So
Right.
it reminds me of that kind of like, and that was before. That was like 1919 or something, or 18. I can't remember.
So that being said, one time for the one time.
Come on in, y'all. Hit that like button. Talking about decade-old battles as though they just happened. It's getting heated cause they both have passion. Pablo, Pickasso, social assassin. Friends dropping gems cause they know about rapping. Hop on the panel and get to why you're wrong. Debated on the channel, so on and so on. Chop it up and discuss different topics. Come in and watch it. Unscripted Logic. Come in and watch it. Unscripted Logic. Unscripted Logic. Every Monday from 6 to 9. Talk battles and pick apart shitty lines. And if you're not on my side, I can change your mind if you give me time. But while you're here, you should hit the like. Cause we keep it raw every Monday night. Nah, bro. No, I'm fucking telling you. Oh my god. You don't know a goddamn thing. Are you serious? You're out of your mind. Exactly. I can't fucking believe this. Oh, please.
Let's go. So now, that being said, so the first thing I want to get into is I have a Scream and Halloween thing that I want to talk about, and then we're gonna get into a bunch of other stuff. But before Pablo, before I start that conversation, did you want to finish the On This Day in History?
No, we're done. We're done.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry. I was like,
Yeah, you good.
I was like, I felt like a dick. I cut you off, but I'm like, all right.
No, I know. It's just cool to know. Like, I mean,
It is for
this
sure.
stuff,
That's
it's like
why
I bring up. I feel like
I was just
just
bringing
like
a funny
the
aspect
Axeman
to it.
thing I brought up. It's like that's actually in a season of American Horror Story. They kind of got into it a little bit, but
Yep.
the full
You're right.
story, the full story is crazy.
Yeah.
Who
yeah.
they actually think the suspects of it. They think it was like a copycat and like a couple different people. Like it was crazy. There was a lot of Axemen at the time type shit. So stuff like that. I just feel like I bring it up and people can look into it if they want. But also I just want to say real quick, the reason when we spell the Halloween, like the Halloween is coming to Unscripted, and I put 33 instead of the E's. It's because
it's
episode 33. It's not. It wasn't like I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
If took some kind of different messaging from that. I just thought it was cool and clever. I was like, oh wait, there's 2 E's in Halloween, and it's episode 33.
Yeah. Now, now y'all see my Halloween shirt, the original cover. Y'all see the poster behind me, the original Halloween cover, 1978. You see the Jason mask on my chair. You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
You see, yo, you can't see. Can you see the sign? It says "Trick or Treat," yo. I found that.
Yo.
I found that at Walmart a few years ago, bro. There was like, I thought it was missing, like the bottom part or something. But like, what else would it say? Like "Trick or Treat yourself"? Like, no.
Right.
I was like, what is it? So we bought it. Was like, it was so rare. It was the only one. So I think it was like a misprint or something, and they just took it. It was on the clearance section. I was like, yo, it says "Trick or Treat," yo. And then we got the Creep It Real. So we're about to creep it real quick. So we got I'm gonna have to cam down because my notes for this stuff is on my my phone. So I'm gonna have to cam down because I'm gonna be like this reading. Actually I might not have to, but
It's all good. I'm still sick, so I'm definitely.
no, you good. I
definitely-
just wanted to cam up and do the little, you know what I mean? Just, it's Halloween, so I wanted to give a little vibe. So, now the first thing that I wanted to get into, let me go to my notes. So let me cam down for a second. Let me go to my notes.
Correct. Halloween 3.
Oh shit! Hold on. Hey, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We'll get there. But yes.
God.
Yeah, we'll get there. All right, so let's see. Now, Halloween is obviously a classic. It's the ultimate Halloween movie, right? To me, there's another movie that to me is the absolute perfect Halloween movie. And I'll get into that one later too. But so in Scream,
Are we starting with Scream or Halloween? I'm confused.
hold on.
We're
We're starting with both. No, I'm not. You'll understand in a minute. So
Scream.
yeah. Hold on. So, you know, in the movie Scream, the kid's name is Billy Loomis, the killer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's paying. We all know. I'm sure most people know that that's paying homage to Dr. Samuel Loomis from the original Halloween. And if you didn't know that, now you do. But and then in the newer ones, Billy's daughter's name is Samantha, but they call her Sam, right? Sam Loomis, which is the obviously again Dr. Samuel Loomis. I'm sure a lot of people might even have caught on to that, but the Loomis name has actually been used in other horror movies as well. Two other horror movies. So I don't have those up right now, but they were used in two other horror movies. So if you can look that up. And then also the actor who plays Annie in Laurie Strode's best friend in the original, her real name is Nancy Loomis.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, you know, Dr. Samuel Loomis was named after the character in Psycho.
Yes, I was just thank you. That's what it was. I just pulled up my other note. Yep, that's what it was. So it was named after so it originated from Psycho, not even from Halloween. And then it was also used in another movie called like Dead Zone or something like that. Dark Shadows. So it was all so the name Loomis was all I don't know if it was Samuel Loomis or if it was just Loomis, but that was also used in that movie. So they've paid homage because Dr. Samuel Loomis is an iconic character. Now let's get back to Scream for a minute, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now before we talk about the actual movie itself, I want to tell a little story. Okay? But before I do, I want to ask a question.
Yeah.
What's your favorite candy?
Oh my god. Definitely not fuck, what do you call those stupid? The candy corn.
Kit Kats, Almond Joys, Reese's, Snickers. You know what I'm saying?
Candy corn is by far the worst.
It's so bad.
Candy ever invented, bro.
It's so bad. Yep. Shout out to Nev Campbell and Jamie Lee Curtis. MME salute, Haji salute, everybody in the building salute. Jack, Bruce, Fresh Coast 702. So now, when I was young, obviously, it was after the movie came out. The movie came out in 1996.
When was that? In the 60s? 1963?
Yep. So I'm going to cam up for this one because this shit's crazy.
Yeah.
So when I was growing up, I had a babysitter. And she was, I think, 16 or either 15 or 16. But she was at a party one night, and I think it was like within a month of the movie coming out, right? And a couple of kids had lured her and her friend from a party to this pond. I'm not going to say where what town it happened in. But so they lured a couple of the girls over to this pond. It was a popular pond. Everybody used to go there. And
like Possum Kingdom from the Toadies.
So
I had to throw that reference in.
Yeah. So this was a really dope place too. If you notice my mug too, it's a trick or treat mug. So my babysitter was one of those girls, and she was my babysitter for probably like a year, and she got murdered by these kids because they were inspired by that movie. They were wearing the masks. They stabbed them numerous times. So that's a true story. So Yeah, Reese's Pieces. I love Reese's Pieces.
Well,
But,
you know what's crazy? Hold on, can you pull up that thing I have right here?
yeah. See,
So
it doesn't tell me.
No,
It
I know.
doesn't show
I had
me
it there. I
that.
was gonna tell you when you were done.
Yeah, just let me
Oh,
know. Yeah.
the Scream movie is actually inspired
Yes.
by the
Yes.
Gainesville Ripper, who was a killer. He murdered co-eds or girls on
Talk
college
about it.
campuses, and the screenwriter Kevin Williamson, who he went on to write I Know What You Did Last Summer. He wrote The Faculty. He wrote
I
the
love
first
that
two
movie.
Screams. Yeah, it's amazing. He wrote the first three Screams, I think. And actually wrote the show The Following, which is another great show. But so originally
No,
Scream.
the first two, because it was a different writer for the third Scream, I think.
Yeah. So what he had originally intended for Scream 3 is what he turned into The Following eventually, which is a great show. But yeah. So this dude, this was 96, I'm guessing, because that's when the movie came out. Where's the hold on, there's like information about it. See, Scream drew inspiration from the crimes of one Daniel Rose Harling, the Gainesville motherfucking Ripper, who's a clown. In August 1990, murdered 5 college students in Florida over the course of 4 days. Now, this isn't a true crime podcast, so I don't want to get into the gory details of the stupid shit he did.
No, absolutely not.
He was caught, and yeah. So Scream originally was, based on the Gainesville Ripper. But what's crazy is after Scream came out, there was a wave of crimes inspired by this film. And just like the story you were telling, this is actually a famous story from Ohio, I think. This young lady.
Well, where my shit happened, it was in a small town, and it was like it will probably maybe not as small, but it was definitely not as big a deal. It didn't make like national news, which was weird.
Right. So this is basically these two chones, these high school kids right here, Brian and Tori. They it's actually a crazy fucking story. So these kids, they were like super into horror movies. They every weekend they would go. They were actually like in film school or whatever. They
look like fucking Chuns.
Chuns, yeah. So it was the 90s, and one was 16, one was 17. They were like so into horror. They were like filming and making their own horror movie. And so this girl was their classmate and actually kind of their friend. But what's strange about this crime is they actually recorded. They were in class filming themselves talking about planning the murder, that we're gonna kill someone, and then they like walk up to her in the hallway. There's actually the footage you can find online. It's very creepy. They walk up to her, she's smiling in the hallway, and they're like, "Oh, hey, Cassie," and they walk away and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna kill her tonight," and shit. And now they didn't film the actual crime, but the seconds after leaving the house, there is video footage of them driving away going, oh my God, I can't believe we did it, we killed it. And the one kid's like, shut up, turn the camera off, we gotta get our story straight.
Wow.
And shit. And it's fucking wild because so basically their friend was dating this girl.
Wow, dude. That's insane.
Their friend was dating this girl, and she was house sitting for her aunt, I think. So she's in this big house all alone. She invites her boyfriend over for the night. Her boyfriend, these two clowns, they weren't even invited. They just showed up at the house, and they were like, oh, hey, what's up? Let's all hang out. And so before this, before they actually came to the door and knocked, they were like walking around. They snuck in the basement. They were shutting the lights on and off to like fuck with them and scare them and stuff. So they were doing that the whole time. Then they like came in and hung out, and then they wound up like
that shit's fucked.
Yeah, they wound up leaving to go to the movies. Apparently, this is what they said. The boyfriend's mom calls and says, "No, you're not staying over there with no parents." His mom comes, picks up the boyfriend. As soon as he leaves, they were actually waiting in the basement. So they started turning the lights on and off again to mess with her. They wearing masks. They yada yada. They commit the crime. police were actually initially not even looking at them because, you know, they were teenagers. It's the 90s, not a lot of crimes like that happened.
Right.
But their alibi was that they were at the movies, and these are two supposed movie buffs. And when the cops came back to them and asked them, you know, about the movie that they supposedly went and saw, neither one of them could describe it or give any like plot points or anything. Like, wait, I thought you guys are movie guys. So the alibi fell apart. And then the one in the middle there, he wound up cracking, and he actually like felt bad about what he did, kind of, and was like, yo, listen, I'll bring you to the so I'm gonna remove them because I'm sick of looking at them. But so that kid cracked. He told him, listen, I'll bring you to where he like brought him to a hole in the ground where they threw the gloves, murder weapons, mask, and the video footage. Now, the video footage went against a lot of the stuff he said, you know, in his confession. He was trying to like downplay how involved he was and stuff. But clearly in the video footage, it shows them planning it. It shows them talking about it, all excited after and shit. So I just think it's crazy that clearly, and there's more than that. There's more cases that happened. Now they both got you know, lengthy sentences since then. That one kid in the middle, he has like repented and said how sorry he was for it and stuff. The other kid has denied involvement over and over and over and over, and his parents are trying to blame the other kid, yada yada. But they're both still behind bars where they belong. But it's just crazy at the time how much like how many weirdos it seemed to inspire. There's a lot of stories, and it's so crazy because in the beginning of Scream, it was Scream 2 or something. It's like it references that in the Scream movies, how people like, you know, in every one of them, I feel like it shows how like, oh, people got inspired from these other killers more, and they kind of
100%. Every Scream movie.
Yeah, I just think it's crazy.
Now, I want to say something before we get back to the Scream stuff, because I still have some Scream facts too. But something you were saying in that story. Hold on. Something you were saying in that story where they were like tapping on the windows to fuck with them and do all that stuff. So speaking of, because we're on slasher movie topics, and I don't want to get off topic because I do want to get back to the Scream thing, but this is quick. But last night I just watched the new Strangers movie, The Strangers Chapter 1.
Oh, bro, yeah. I've seen the first one. But...
Yo, the one with Dennis Reynolds.
Yeah.
So Glenn Howerton from Always Sunny. But yeah, so I watched this one last night, bro, and it was definitely fucking wicked good. It was way better. It was way better than any of the other ones. Because there's been a few, and I like. I mean, I liked all of them, but like they weren't like great movies, but they were good enough to watch. But this one was actually really good. But you know, someone comes in and everybody that's in here, this is spoiler alerts, because there will be spoiler alerts. So getting back, but it is a good movie. It is worth a watch. I believe it's on HBO Max or Hulu, one of the two. But either way, yeah, Hulu. So now back to Scream. I have some, and Amazon Prime.
Right.
So, and Stars. All right, so let me calm down for a minute. Okay, so let's see. So originally Scream was supposed to be called Scary Movie.
Yeah.
But the Weinstein brothers didn't they didn't think that people would get like the comedy aspect of the movie if it was called Scary Movie. So they called it Scream. And also They called it Scream. This was the Weinstein brothers' idea to call it Scream.
Uh-huh.
Named after the Michael and Janet Jackson song Scream that was popular at that time.
I know, it's crazy.
It's fucking crazy.
Wild is, it's funny that Scary Movie became the parody of that shit.
Yes,
Scary
yes,
Movie
because
is actually a better name for it, I feel like.
it is. And honestly, I'm gonna be fucking 100% real right now. Scream is a better parody horror movie than Scary Movie.
Switch names for real.
And then Drew Barrymore was actually originally supposed to play the lead.
Yeah.
Yeah, and but
she didn't want to.
Right, she didn't want to. She wanted to, like, she felt like it was more impactful for the such a big name to die at the beginning. I think Wes Craven had talked to her about that, and like they thought that was a good idea. At the time,
Drew Barrymore was like the biggest star in the movie.
Yes,
as far as the females go,
Nev Campbell
wasn't really known like that.
Yeah,
so to have her name on the posters, on the marketing, on the like everything, Drew Barrymore, her fucking picture is on the front cover, like she's one of the main characters. So to have her get iced in the first scene was like insane at the time, you know?
Yeah. So there was someone else that was supposed to play Billy Loomis.
Not Skeet Ulrich?
Yeah, it was supposed to be someone else, but the reason that they got him was because he had a Johnny Depp look. And it was paying so that they wanted to pay homage to Nightmare on Elm Street in that way, which I'm not mad at all.
Well, it's another Wes Craven movie, so
right, exactly. So I'm not mad at that at all. So
he did look. I remember when I first watched it as a kid, I thought that was Johnny Depp.
Yeah, right.
But like just like a more thugged up. He looked like if Johnny Depp was a greaser and not a soap.
Right.
But also, I love watching Scream now because you're like, yeah, these 30-year-olds. He's like got the fucking denim jacket, the white tees with the cigarettes rolled up in his sleeve. It's like, dude, you're 30. You're 30 in high school. It's amazing. I love it.
I actually like all the Scream movies except like 2. But
the third one's kind of trash.
Yeah, the third one's pretty trash, and then
the fourth one's all right. Rory Culkin and shit.
I love that one. I love that
Hayden
one. So actually, I think the third one's the only one I really don't like because I didn't like
the killer, the reveal. It's only one killer, and the guy like he's such a chun.
Yeah.
Like they fucking forced the plot, and it's like,
yeah.
Scream 3 could just get taken outside and get old Yellard.
Yep, I agree. Now, something very interesting here. Now, a lot of that stuff I knew beforehand, but this I did not know. Wes Craven originally turned down Scream because he was in the middle of directing the remake for The Haunting, but the project ended up collapsing. And Wes Craven Wes fucking Craven, Nightmare on Elm Street. Wes fucking Craven needed work.
Was it Wes Craven?
That's sad, bro. But anyway, so check this out.
Yeah, this shit revitalized his career, bro. That's what I was talking about before with the slasher and the horror genre was degrading at this time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was 100%. And that's why I'm glad he did this the way he did with the whole like kind of parody type, but really still a good horror movie. But so you know who they were looking at to direct it? Before Wes Craven came back.
I know, but I can't remember right now.
Yeah, so before Wes Craven came back and was like, "Hey, I can actually do it now."
Well, like James Cameron.
Because of course, no matter who, because these 3 names I'm gonna say, you're gonna be like, "What?" And I would take any 3 any day of the week. But if Wes Craven came and said, "All right, I can do it now," I'd be like, "Sorry, guys, I gotta go with Wes because, he's the goat of this. Well,
right,
he's one of the goats of this shit because these, so they were looking at Sam Raimi
Okay, I'm not mad at it.
George Romero.
Mm,
Yeah, at that time, I feel like
yeah,
So, and Robert Rodriguez,
that would have been fire.
fire.
A
So,
Robert Rodriguez Scream would actually be dope.
dude, I feel the same way. But
Because
it
look
would
at
have
what he
been,
did with The Faculty, which is, like I said, that's a Kevin Williamson script.
yep.
And look what he did with that. So.
And he did an amazing job, and I can't wait till the remake that he actually is wrote and directed too. But I'm glad that. But it would have been a completely different movie.
Right, Sam
I'm
Raimi,
glad.
because
I just hope that if somebody ever does like remake Scream, like actually like remake the original, which I pray they fucking don't. But if they actually do, I hope Robert Rodriguez decides to do a take on it, and
Right.
that's what it is. But yeah, so I really thought that was interesting.
Yeah, Sam Raimi made the Evil Deads, if you didn't know, and also Spider-Man, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans. But yeah, his style is just like, I feel like it wouldn't fit. George A. Romero, horror icon, classic, very good at making like zombie films.
Yeah.
But also he always tries to have like some kind of message in there too, which is why I felt like Land of the Dead kind of fell flat for me and stuff. But
right, Land of the Dead did fall flat. Like,
yeah, you know what I mean? Like, oh, consumerism, we get it. You did that in Dawn of the Dead. We got it. We got the symbolism of zombies walking through a mall. Consumerism, we get it.
Yeah.
Like
that was the one with John Leguizamo, right?
Yeah, and Dennis Hopper and shit. I mean, it's not a terrible movie, but
no, but it's not great. No,
yeah,
by any stretch of the imagination. Now, before we move on to also Scream only had a $14 million budget, by the way.
Right. That's what I was talking about before with slasher films and them being the highest grossing per capita, like based on the budget, because the budget that they spend, most of it goes into like special effects, and like they said in there, like some of the time, like even the fucking masks for the killer would be like they got at a Halloween store, and you know what I mean. It's like very, very low budget. Most of them have like no name actors in them. So for Scream, most of the money probably went to like Drew Barrymore and marketing. For real,
right?
Not the actual film itself. Like getting Courtney Cox and David Arquette, like people like that is probably what cost them the most money. To be real.
No, I agree. Now before we get into Halloween, and then we're gonna get into some other slasher franchises and slasher classics. But before we get into Halloween, what is there anything else that you have about Scream that you want to talk about? Okay, so now there's something that is my audio good?
Yeah, good. I mean, aside from the fact that he flipped the whole genre on its head of who's the killer, having it be two killers was like revolutionary at the time.
Yeah, facts. So my bad. I'm not reading the comments. I'm reading my notes. But so now I don't know. Like I know most people, like real movie heads, know this, but like especially horror movie heads. But like for people who don't know, Halloween was supposed to be an anthology. So like the original idea was the first one was like a serial killer stalking a teenager, right? And then that was so well received that they were like we need to make a sequel to that. So like they were like, all right, we'll make the sequel, whatever. And then they figured for the third installment they would just go back to their original idea of it being an anthology. That's why the third one doesn't have Michael Myers in it. It has nothing to do with him, because it does show on the TV the 1978 version playing on the TV in one scene. But that's so Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, that's the reason that it's so and
it
people were out
because it's so. What's crazy is if you watch it now, like if you watch it separate from the Halloween franchise, it's not a bad movie. It's not a bad. I mean, it is kind of bad, but it's not. It's not the worst horror movie I've ever seen. If it was like if it lived in a in a universe where if Halloween 1 and 2 never came out and that was just the first Halloween, I feel like it wouldn't be so critically panned. It was just the fact that it was so far. It was like a fucking rusty hand on the e-brake, like
Right.
compared to what people were, after watching Michael Myers for 2 movies, Jamie Lee Curtis, the chemistry, like everything about the first 2 Halloweens just works. And like we said, this is kind of like right at the Black Christmas, probably the first iteration of a slasher, but this was like the first slasher like franchise, basically.
It was.
And
now
so
I
to
want
have the third one be absolutely nothing to do with the killer that people have.
I get why people were upset. Like, I totally do. If he should have announced that it was going to be that before, But what B702 said here, yeah, I actually have that in my notes here. So yeah, the Michael Myers mask. So basically, when they were looking for the Michael Myers mask, they were looking for the most plain looking face, like just a the most blanket stare you could find.
Mm-hmm.
And
because
William Shatner's face ended up
Myers,
being it.
You know what Michael Myers' original name was, right?
I forget. I looked it up earlier too.
The Shape.
The Shape. The fucking. That's right.
So that's
right.
why they wanted the most generic, like
in the credits. He wasn't credited as Michael Myers, right? He was credited as the Shape.
So that's basically, right. Michael Myers was supposed to be the kid, and what he became eventually was the Shape, and that's why they wanted the most nondescript, basic, no feature mask, like almost like like a blend, like a featureless face, like your thumb, like if your thumb was a face, basically, that's what they wanted.
Yep.
So they found the William Shatner mask because at the time, Star Trek was big, and those were like the biggest selling masks for a little bit, and then it kind of died off. So they were just like kind of hanging around Halloween stores, and no one was really buying William Shatner masks at the time. So they bought it, and they, obviously they like painted it white or whatever, added some features to it to make it look more creepy. And yeah, that's the story of the mask of the Shape. Yeah, definitely. Black Christmas absolutely started it, but if it wasn't for Halloween, I don't think the slasher would have became the genre that it became, basically.
Right, absolutely. Pablo, check the back chat.
All right, word.
So yeah, now Halloween 1978, are you good? Or are we? Halloween 1978, let me see, Black Christmas preceded Halloween, but Halloween springboard. Well, I think he just means like as far as franchises. Black Christmas wasn't a franchise, right? So, but yeah, it was also, yeah, it really was actually. It really was because, yeah, it really was. I can't argue with that. But yeah, so Halloween 1978 is one of my favorite Halloween movies ever to watch, and it might be my favorite. It's not the perfect Halloween movie. To me, the perfect Halloween movie, and I'll wait till Pablo gets back to talk about it, but it is absolutely one of my favorite movies to watch during the holiday season, because you know what I love about Halloween movies is that beginning scene where you just see it's like an outdoor scene in like a small town, and people are riding their bikes and there's cars driving, and you just see the trees and the leaves falling, and it's just the autumn day, and it's just everything looks so perfect, and it's like some shit's gonna happen, like so. Yo, Hocus Pocus is one of the greatest, especially for when I was a kid. Like that's one of my favorite Halloween movies ever. But the second one, bro, the second one was so bad. It ruined it. Like, I really don't know why they did it. I really don't know why they did it. I really do not know why they made that second Hocus Pocus. But the first one was such a classic, you should have just left it alone. It's timeless. Every kid watches it. Every kid watched it on Halloween or around Halloween from the day it came out till now. Even with, you could take, like, they were still making so much money off of the first one. Why make a sequel and ruin shit for the original fans? It's fucking terrible. Terrible. But yeah, if y'all haven't seen The Strangers Chapter 1,
terrible.
it's a really good slasher film.
No, you know it's fire. No, it's a fire Halloween movie.
What?
Ernest Scared Stupid.
Stupid. Yeah, that's on my list too.
I fucking love that movie, girl.
So next Halloween episode we do, we're definitely gonna get into horror comedies and anthologies and zombie movies and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So we might talk a little bit about that stuff tonight, but yeah. So we wanted to focus kind of on slasher films and then kind of talk about whatever after, But as far as now, there have been so many Halloween movies and different timelines. Hold on one second. And so many different like timelines that like it kind of screwed things up. Now, what I will say is I really enjoyed Halloween, the original one, the second one, the fourth one I liked. I even liked the fifth one, right? I don't like the one with Busta Rhymes. I don't like the one with
H2O. Is that the one with Busta Rhymes? Or is that the one with
Resurrection? H2O is the one with Josh Hartnett when Laurie
Strode has LL Cool J is
yes.
Right.
Your mic's a little like very loud.
Loud?
Yeah.
Oh, hold
on. But yeah, so
yeah,
way better. Yeah. But yeah, so no, you're good. But so there have been a whole bunch of different, a bunch of people have tried it. Now, the one I want to talk about first is the 2028 David Gordon Green, Danny McBride trilogy that they made. Now, did you see all three of those? Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends?
Yep.
Okay. So, Halloween 2018, when I first saw it, I didn't really care for it. And then I watched it, and I saw it in theaters. And then I watched it at home, and I was like, all right, it's not so bad. And then I watched it again, and it grew on me. So I'm like, all right, it's not bad. And the Halloween Kills was so fucking good that it made Halloween 2018 even better. Like, it just made it better.
I don't know if I forget, like,
and
we
then,
talked about this before about how a sequel could be so good, but I don't know if it forgives the mistakes of the predecessor.
No, it doesn't. I agree with that. But in this situation, for me, like, watching them back to back, it makes it not so bad because the payoff is
right,
is worth it.
Would work if Halloween Ends wasn't so fucking terrible.
That's the most. Season of the Witch is way better than Halloween Ends.
Facts, bro.
Facts.
And
Facts.
And to answer Bruce Lee's question, even Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 is better.
I was just gonna say, so
even with how whacked out it is and how he keeps seeing his mom and the horse and shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Now
even that's better.
Now there are parts of that movie that are good, but for the most part, that movie's terrible. Just weird and like not terrible, just weird and shit. But the Rob Zombie version of the Halloween, the first one, bro, killed it. Love that movie.
Right. I really liked the opening scene and stuff, like how they set it up. Like
yeah.
It's crazy. I feel like if you took parts of each of them and put them together, you could have like an almost perfect Halloween movie. If you took parts of what Rob Zombie did in the first one, and even some of the second, take Halloween Kills and some of what they did in the first one, and just erase Halloween Ends. You kind of have like a perfect Halloween remake. There somewhere.
I agree. Now, I want to actually, it's funny you say that, Bruce, because now check this out, right? I watched the new Monsters movie that he made, and like, yeah, it's cheesy and stuff, but I love that movie. I think it's a great little movie. It's only in like an hour and 20 minutes. It's short. I like it. I like it. But anyway, so the Lords of Salem, right?
Mm-hmm.
The first time I watched that movie, I was like, this movie's weird as fuck. I don't like it. Now, then one day, I'm home from work, right?
Yeah.
I'm home by myself. My girl's at work. I'm just home. It's broad daylight outside. I'm watching this movie. I was like, fuck it, let me watch this movie. It's almost, I know my girl's not going to want to watch it because neither of us liked it last time, whatever, da-da-da. So I watch it, and I'm actually getting, like, freaked out while I'm watching it, and I'm, like, by myself. I'm like, damn, and I actually appreciated it a lot more. So I actually think that Lords of Salem really it's a pretty good movie. I would give it like a 5.5 or a 6. What do you think?
Yeah, I give it like a 6. Like you said, the first, like it's weird because like halfway through, I was like so intrigued.
Yeah.
Right, and I feel like you said, like to the ending kind of like, and I don't even really remember how it ends.
It ends
but I remember
weird. The ending's
kind
weird.
of like disappointed.
The ending was weird. Some like it ended up being that ritual shit with the spoilers, with the old ladies and shit. So,
but it's not.
So
a bad
actually,
movie. Honestly, I'll watch anything with Sherry Moon Zombie.
Yeah.
She's fucking gorgeous to me.
But honestly, I would give it like a 5.5. But I would say it's worth a watch.
Right.
Now
it's funny because she's not even normally like my type, but I don't know. Something
about
her is just like,
I know. Now 31.
It was crazy. I love
that fucking movie. That movie got a lot of hate when it first came out. That movie is fucking awesome. Mm-hmm. I love that movie. That movie I would give like a 7.5 or maybe even an 8. Probably an 8. Like that's a really good horror movie for its genre. Its genre.
We probably say like some stuff gets more points just because of how fun it is.
Right.
It reminded me of like a video game.
Right.
Boss is just the mini boss, and then you got the 2 at once. You got the like just something about it, like, and the crazy names of the people. The actor that plays like the main crazy dude is fucking, I love that guy, bro. He's fucking hilarious. He kills it. He's like menacing in a way that like some people they like try to put on this like crazy eye. This dude just has that look. Like if
Right.
you're in a fucking dark parking lot and that guy was like there just standing there, like you would get the heebie-jeebies just by looking at this dude.
Right.
So I love 31. I watched it by myself, like on my tablet years ago, and I was like, this is amazing. Like, how come no one's ever told me about this before?
Right. Nah, yeah, I remember I bought it the day it came out, and I was like, I loved it immediately. I like it. Yeah, it's a great fucking movie. It's like like surviving the game, but in a how like a big fucking mansion with that shit was fucked. And the little midget Nazi thing that what the hell? Oh man, nah,
midget's not the correct term. It's so weird to call them little people.
Little
It seems
people.
so demeaning. Little person. But we want to make sure YouTube, we're not bullying or
absolutely. My bad.
Protected groups.
My bad. No, I meant little people. So I apologize. No, I definitely give 31 like an 8.5 because it is that good.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, his first movie was House of a Thousand Corpses. Now, my friend Bo, who passed away, he loved that movie, and he said he's like, oh, to be continued. And I was like, oh, you really think they're gonna make a sequel? He's like, oh, definitely. And he didn't live to see the sequel, so that's I don't think. Hold on, what year did that come out?
Ooh, 2000.
I think
2, 3, maybe.
Devil's Rejects.
Oh, and 4 maybe 2004.
Devil's Rejects, Evil Sorts, 2003. Yeah, but what year did it come? That's what the fuck.
2005.
2005.
Yeah.
Oh, so he probably did. Yeah, actually, he probably did. So good.
Yeah, I like how
then,
House of a Thousand Corpses was like had a little more comedy in it. It's got Rainn Wilson and stuff, so it's like kind of a little slapsticky almost at parts. But Devil's Rejects was like full on, like I like it. That like movie like affected me when I watched it the first time. Like the scene in the hotel and stuff. Like I had this like it's not often that a horror, and I'm not talking about like grossed out like what do they call it, like a gore porn or whatever.
Like I Spit on Your Grave.
Yeah, no, not
That
even like
insane.
Hostel and stuff. Like there's a term for it. They call it like
I'm not into
gore
that
porn
shit.
or whatever. It's like stuff that's like, oh, it's so like absurd, and like the stuff they show is like meant to gross you out basically. And it's like I'm not talking about like being grossed out. I mean like physically, like in my chest felt like uneasy. Like
I feel that way when I watch I Spit on Your Grave though too. I felt super uneasy watching that movie, the first half of it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was thinking for some reason I was thinking it dragged me to hell. I was like, really? I was like,
no.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yo, that shit is traumatic to watch, yo.
Especially the original. It's like,
oh man, it's so, bro. If you've never seen it, don't watch it. I just don't. It's not like, so much bad stuff happens to this girl, and then she ends up getting revenge for it. But if you want to watch like the second half, just her getting her revenge, just know
it's almost like Last on the Left-ish and stuff like that. Like,
it's so brutal what they do to her and what they show in the movie.
I let this kid, rest in peace, borrow the Devil's Rejects, and his mom threw it away because it said the devil.
Oh my god.
But yeah, dude, Hellraiser, it's crazy because I actually haven't watched that. Like, they make a new one like every year or two.
Yeah, but only
terrible.
The original is the only good one, and I'm actually watching that tonight after the show.
Clive Barker's original, because it wasn't even called Hellraiser, right? The book is what the hell is it called? It's something about the heart the something.
I forget.
Hold on. Yeah, the original's amazing. The original Hellraiser.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
amazing. It's the only one.
The Cenobites are just like aren't the main villains of the first Hellraiser.
No,
The
but
main
I wanted to get.
is
Well,
the lady, you know. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, Hellraiser 2, it's like as much as it continues the story, and it's like it's kind of crazy. Like it gets like the fat one, the jitter bite one. It's like, you know.
Yep.
And originally they were gonna like do away with Pinhead, but it was like, you know, the staple of the franchise.
Of
But after
course.
that, it gets terrible, you know.
But so let me ask you, getting back to the Rob Zombie movies, what did you think of 3 from Hell? Because that was the final. That was the last movie of the trilogy for House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects,
Right.
and then 3 from Hell.
I didn't hate it. I didn't love it either.
I didn't like it. I thought it like I watched it. Did you only watch it once?
I watched it once a long time ago, and I think one of my brothers was actually watching it recently. I didn't see the whole thing, but I seen like the end part, and I was like laughing and kind of like it was entertaining. Like the luchador.
I haven't watched it recently. I just felt like it was like I remember like enjoying definitely enjoying parts of it. Like, but I just remember remember thinking like this is too much. The House of a Thousand Corpses was a perfect movie. Devil's Rejects was a perfect movie with a perfect ending.
Yeah, I feel like it like undoes the ending of a good perfect movie, and also it's just unnecessary. And the fact that Sid Haig or whatever that dude, the fact that he passes away and he's not even in it at that point.
He was so
There's
sick.
points where you're watching the movie and you're like, what did he make this for?
Right.
There's not like a continuation. It's like it's not a story that had to be told. Sid Haig is
in the beginning. He has a scene in the beginning.
I know.
But he was so sick that like he was telling them like I can't do this. And they were like, oh come on, just do this one scene. And like
and I feel like what makes the first 2 films work so well is the Firefly family.
Yeah, it like the first one's
Groucho Marx, the sheriff, and then his brother, and the a lot of the storyline there is kind of what makes the film is this family. So
it's a Texas Chainsaw Massacre feel.
Yeah, but even in Devil's Rejects, when they're like on the run,
right,
and there's like Diamond Dallas Page and stuff like
super creative.
It still works. 3 from Hell just feels like it just like doesn't work. I feel like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's no point to the movie.
Right, I agree.
Other than people liked this, so I'm going to continue it, which is often what happens in horror, in slashers. That's what happened with Michael Myers. That's what happened with Jason. That's what happened with Friday the 13th. Like, Nightmare on Elm Street. Like, this is what happens. This is what happened with Hellraiser. It's like, it just is what happened. Like, people like it, so they go, we got to make another one. And it's like, but what's the reasoning? The whole reason some of them work, like the reason Halloween 1 and 2 work is the storyline. They're bound together. It's his sister. There's a whole there's a reason it works. Friday the 13th, it's like, oh, the kid drowned. His mother's upset about it. There's a reason it works. Even if you go on to like 2 or 3 or 4, like, okay, now it's like his demonic like body coming back for it. Like even that kind of works. Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one, it's so creepy, and it's like the lore behind it of like why he's attacking them in their dreams because he was burned by the townspeople. It works, but when you continue a story with no real reasoning, there's no spring forward like action or reason why we need another one. Right. There's no continuation of like, oh no, I have to tell this story. That's when you get a Season of the Witch. That's when you get Jason Lives or Jason Takes Manhattan. That's when you get a Dream Warriors or whatever it's like. Now you're just going, oh well, people like it, so let's do whatever. And I get it was the 80s. I get it. people needed money for cocaine.
Yeah.
So they would just create movies as a write-off. I
Yep.
get it, but that's often what happens in horror.
Yep.
Slashers especially. Yeah, they play. That's the thing about the reason that hits so hard at the end of Devil's Rejects is because, you know, sometimes, especially music and film, when used the right way, like a Tarantino, you know, something like music and film are internally linked. And the fact that it wasn't just a scene in Devil's Rejects, they played the entirety of Freebird at the end.
They did.
That's what makes
and
it.
the shootout was amazing while the song was
hits
playing.
The guitar solo part, and they get riddled with bullets.
Amazing.
Riddled, like
now,
Bonnie and Clyde.
yeah. No, it was
amazing.
It was amazing, and I actually think of House of a Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects as just one movie. And to me, even though fully inspired by the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, to me, it's a better story. It's a better movie. That's just my opinion.
Right. You know what's crazy about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
What?
Is that originally the story, the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre was based.
That's a true story.
Well, it's kind of semi based on a couple of stories, but the reason it was basically like anti-meat corporation propaganda film. Basically, that's why
I heard that.
The way he slaughters them, the way he hangs them up on meat hooks, he's got the meat tenderizer, he's got the butcher's apron and stuff, is essentially was supposed to be like symbolism of like, this is what we do to animals. And look, if you know, seeing it done to a human, it makes you uncomfortable, doesn't it? Like, basically, which is kind of crazy. It's like basically a vegan's wet dream of like, you know, well, or nightmare, but you know, like, I just think that's funny.
Now, let me ask you a question since we're talking about slasher films, right? Now, I've heard a lot of people say that I wish I could have my real headphones on, but I can't because I don't fit over this friggin' hat. So I have to use these cheap ass headphones. But so I hope the audio is good enough. But anyway, so I've seen a lot of people say that Art the Clown. You've seen Terrifier, right?
I've seen a little bit of it, but I know who you're referring to. Yeah.
Oh,
I know there's like two, or there's like a third one coming out or something.
So the third one's coming out this weekend. I'm actually going to see it at the drive-in on Saturday. But so I saw the first and second one. The first one is a phenomenal slasher film. It reminded me of an 80s and 90s and early 2000s slasher movie all wrapped in one, but the best it could, like, it was just so fucking good. More 80s and 90s, I would say, but it was
can't look at him and not think of the movie Vulgar with the guy from Clerks and shit.
Yeah. So now there's a sequel to Terrifier called All Hallows Eve with him in it. I haven't watched that yet, but I do plan to watch it, and it's still him, Art the Clown. Now, I also saw the second one. The second one was good, but it to me, it wasn't as good as the first. The first one just had this like allure. It was just raw. It was just original, you know. And the second one's very original as well. But a lot of people are saying that he's already up there as far as slasher icons with like Freddy, Jason, Leatherface, Ghostface. Yeah, you got to put Ash up there. do you now? You can't really say because you haven't seen the movies.
I've seen the first one. It's been a long time since I saw it.
The first
But,
one was really fucking good. I
It's
really
not
liked the
that
first one.
good.
I
I give it
liked
like
it.
a 6. It only stands out because of how trash horror movies are these days in general. If that movie came out at the same time as all these other classics, it would be a forgettable fucking sleepaway camp.
I
That's what it
disagree.
would be.
I disagree. There was a lot that I liked about this movie, like outside of the clown. But
Right, but we're talking specifically about the clown and him being as iconic as some of these others, and I just have to disagree with that. There's no way. He's probably not even in the top 10.
No, I disagree too. I'm somebody who says that Sam from Trick or Treat is in there. You know, he's not really a slasher, but he's up there with the icons, like with Chucky and them. Like I just feel like Sam from Trick or Treat, because to me, Trick or Treat is the most perfect Halloween movie ever. But we'll talk about that when we talk about anthologies. But no,
the Hellbound Heart is what Hellraiser is called. My bad. I just remember
Hellbound Heart, yeah.
Right.
But I agree with you. I don't think that he should be up there with legends like Ghostface and Leatherface and Freddy and Jason and Michael, and you know what I mean. It's just not. It's just not
Chucky,
right. And Chucky.
Bruce Lee said "Children of the Corn," and it's funny. Malachi. Every time I know that's whatever that dude's name, but every time someone says it, I can't help but think of "Children of the Corn."
Yeah. Oh, speaking of clowns, killer clowns from outer space. But we'll get to that when we next episode when we get to the comedy stuff. But so is there a slasher flick in particular or franchise that you wanted to get into?
Well, I do like. Have you seen the new Chucky, the Chucky series? Not the movie that they made.
I watched the first 2 seasons, and I didn't get a chance to watch the 3rd season yet. Is the 3rd season out?
I'm not sure. I don't think I've watched the 3rd season either.
Okay, all right. So, but
that show is.
Hold on. The last season was them at the White House. They did some shit at the White House, right?
I don't.
They went to the White House.
I don't remember that at all.
Oh, then that's the 3rd season.
Okay.
Maybe it's the 4th season. I didn't see. My bad.
But yeah, it's a great show. I like
it. Is it got canceled?
The guy who does the voice for Chucky was Brad Dourif or something.
Brad Dourif. Yep.
Bro,
it got canceled though. The show.
It did?
Yeah, I heard it just got canceled.
What?
I swear. Hold up.
Now I gotta look it up.
Look it up. I'll be right
back. That was like the most
successful
show on whatever.
On Peacock.
Peacock.
Right. I'll be right back. Yep.
Hold on. Let me look this up now. I got to see this. Chucky show. Actually, now that you're saying it, I do kind of remember hearing. Oh, hashtag save Chucky. 56 minutes ago, this was posted. Hashtag save Chucky. Fan campaign attempts to bring the canceled killer doll back to the screen. Chucky canceled by Sci-Fi and USA Network after 3 seasons.
Go back. Say it again. My bad.
Chucky canceled by Sci-Fi and USA Network after 3 seasons.
Yeah. Okay.
Why?
I don't know. So yeah, I just saw it the other day. I don't know how old the news is, but so real quick, before we get into other slasher films, this is actually
the creator said promised that Chucky will return in an emphatic statement. So some other not dumb corporation's probably going to pick
Paramount Plus, I bet.
Yeah,
Paramount
someone
Plus.
Who's not.
Salute J-Rock.
There was something now when you asked me that about, there was something I wanted to get into. We were in the middle of other stuff. Now I'm trying to remember.
Well, let me just ask you about this movie, and you
Okay.
can think about it while I ask you about this. So, have you seen the movie Thanksgiving?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, that's also a slasher film, and it takes place on Black Friday, and, all, and it literally shows in the beginning, Black Friday shoppers trying to get into the store, and
Tim Dillon's
mayhem happens.
Mm-hmm.
Huh? Yeah,
Tim Dillon.
Yeah.
Tim Dillon plays a security guard.
Yep. And shit gets people die. Like the opening scene to Thanksgiving. If you haven't seen Thanksgiving,
Oh my god.
it's on it's on either Hulu or HBO Max or something. Hold on, it tells me right here. It's on Netflix. So Thanksgiving on Netflix. It's a slasher flick. But I'm telling you, the opening scene is one of the craziest opening scenes to a horror movie or any movie I've ever seen. It's wild. So definitely check that out if you haven't seen it. Thanksgiving. So yeah,
Jack said his pop wants to know our opinion on the Saw franchise. Now, I'm gonna be real. The first Saw movie I saw in theaters, and I
was with you.
I liked what they did with the first one.
I loved it. And can I tell a story about that?
Yeah, go ahead.
So we're in the theater. So check this out, right? So we go to the movies, and me and Pablo and a couple of his brothers, we go to see this movie, and none of us were 17 or 18 or whatever we had to be to get Pablo in, because Pablo was a little younger, so they wouldn't let us take him in the movie. So Pablo's dad had to come in the movie with us, and so we're in the movie, and Danny Glover, it shows Danny Glover, and yo, I love Pablo's dad, bro. And he was like, he screams out, Danny Glover, I love him. And it was just amazing. And rest in peace to Pablo's pops. And he did a lot for me. And then at the end of the movie, he was like, he's like, what? It was him the whole time. He yelled it so loud. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing.
Right. No, it's funny. Quick side tangent about Not Another Teen Movie when that came out.
Oh,
me
man.
and my buddy wanted to go see it, but we were like 13 at the time or something. So rated R movie. So the lady at the front knew us from like school. She was a little older. She wouldn't sell us the tickets. My dad was just gonna drop us off to see it. He had to come in. I was like, oh, you got to come in, buy a ticket, pretend like you're gonna watch it. I'm like, you can dip out after a couple minutes.
Right.
He stayed and watched the whole movie with us, dying laughing. And my dad was like the loudest one in the theater.
He always was.
Always like a minute late with the reactions. Like everyone else died down, and he'd be like, "Huh! Oh my goodness!" This like it's just I was like face palming the whole time and stuff. But like looking back now, I'm like, bro, it's hilarious.
Nah, it was legendary. I used to love going places with Pablo's pops.
But as far as like a franchise, I don't know, man. I don't know. I like the idea of like, oh, a trap and you have to get it. But like, I don't know. I didn't really keep up with the Saw franchise. I've heard some people say like, oh, but this one's great. Or this one. And I'm like,
yeah, that's the thing. So
get into it. Like the whole Jigsaw and like.
So I kept up with it. And I would say like, I liked, I don't know, how many is there now? 10?
I have no idea. Bro.
I would say, however many there is now, I think I've seen all of them, except maybe the most. I saw Spiral. I don't know if there was one after that, but honestly, it's like once you've seen one, you've seen them all, kind of. But like they do connect the stories, but like the stories are kind of not connected that well, and it's just very random, and I don't know, I like some of them, but yeah, I would say it's like I probably like 40% of them.
right
You know, maybe like 4 of them.
But
5,
anyway,
maybe.
so we're talking about modern slashers that were actually good. This one's a hidden gem. I don't know if you didn't see it. Well, first of all, okay, I'll get into that. So movies first. Hidden gem slasher films of the last like decade or so.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, Winnie the Pooh. Have you ever seen? No, I'm gonna say it's so trash. It's so.
Yeah, it's so bad.
But
it's so bad.
no. I wanted to say, you ever seen You're Next? Came out.
Yeah. Of course.
This movie is so fire. If you've never seen You're Next with the chick holding the axe on the front cover.
Yeah, or it has like the goat's head or whatever. Yeah,
something like that. You're Next is a horror classic if you have never seen it. Also, well, I guess this one's more we can get into that on the comedy when it's more comedy. But bro, what's a great one is you ever seen The Collector?
Of course. Yo, The Collector, bro. The Collector is so fucking good.
The Collector is like what Saw could have been. And it's better.
Facts.
Saw. The Collector.
I was just talking about that movie the other day. I was just talking about that movie the other day.
Mm-hmm. Or, bro, you know what's a great movie? No One Lives with Luke Evans. It's actually like a WWE production.
Oh, yeah. I watched that last Halloween, I think.
Bro, No One Lives is amazing.
No One Lives. Yeah, babe, we watched that. No, hold on. Let me look it up because that's I definitely watched that. Because I remember being like WWE Productions. There's no wrestlers in it. That's what I remember thinking. Right.
Which is it's amazing.
All right. So what was it called again?
No One Lives. You just said.
Oh yeah, duh. But yeah. So yeah.
But yo, bro, I watched this movie recently, and I only put it on because of the name and the lead actor.
2012.
Yeah, it's an older movie.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I just watched this for the first time last Halloween.
Bro, Luke Evans is one of my favorite actors. Amazing.
He is a great actor.
So there's this movie I saw on I don't know if it's on Netflix or Peacock, right?
And yo, hold up. Rotten Tomatoes gave that movie a 46%.
Yeah, of course they did.
Fuck you, Rotten Tomatoes. I am gonna cook you, motherfuckers. You're lucky I've been busy. You're lucky I've been busy. So I'm about to get y'all.
I watched the other day, or maybe like a couple months ago. It's called They/Them.
Oh man, I watched that. Don't get me started. Don't get me started on that. I watched it when it first came. Bacon. Yo, I watched it when it first came out because I like Kevin Bacon, and despite the name of the movie, and despite the fact that it came out on Peacock, which their thing is a rainbow, the rainbow colors, like I still thought, all right, maybe this will be a good movie.
Well, because the plot and well, first of all, I was like, what is this propaganda? So I had to put it on.
Yeah, I knew it was propaganda too.
The plot alone, it's like a group of teenagers at an LGBTQR code conversion camp endures unsettling psychological techniques while being stalked by a mysterious masked killer. So basically, the plot says like, oh, these genderqueer non-binaries or whatever at this conversion camp are getting killed off. So I was like, well, this could be interesting. You know, you put it on, and I'm not gonna throw them under the bus. And it was not social, but I was watching it with someone else, and they said like, yo, that girl's kind of fine, and I was like, bro, I'm pretty sure that's a dude. 10 minutes later, that it's absolutely a dude.
Definitely wasn't me.
No, it's not you. But it's just funny.
What movie was that? No One Lives?
The They Them.
Oh, They Them. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Bro. It's
damn.
If you want to be infuriated, and
you gotta tell me who said that.
I'll tell you that.
Yeah. You got to.
But as far as like, you know, good horror movie, like we didn't even mention, bro, Candyman. There's very
Candyman.
very few films that actually, you know, because you got to think, I had 3 older brothers. Like we had just discussed, my dad was the type of person that he would rent, like, you know, rated R, triple X movies or whatever, and put them on, and we watched them like together. Even when I was like 3, I think I saw Fire in the Sky when I was like 4.
I saw that when I was like 8, and it scared me for fucking ever, bro.
Yeah, so imagine me being like 4 years old watching Fire in the Sky, which is like supposedly based on a true story about alien abduction. It's like, ugh. But Candyman, bro, I watched Candyman when I was like 5, and like for a decade, anytime I was alone, like in a restroom, and it was I couldn't even look in the mirror, even though it's like, you know, I'm not daring to say it, but I would just like get this creepy feeling every time.
Of course.
And you know, in my front yard, there was that big tree there. When you
the big what?
The big tree in my front yard.
Of course.
Anytime I would be outside in the dark, I would always get this feeling that like a Michael Myers or a Jason was gonna walk out from behind that tree. It just creeped me out so bad.
Yeah.
But Candyman, bro, the first one was such an amazing script. It's actually, the first one was actually based on a true story. So you know how in Candyman, the whole premise, the plot is, you know, that I forget who it is, but that white lady's like going down to the people that live in this specific like apartments or projects or whatever, and she's like doing a story on them, basically.
Yeah.
Well, that is actually like inspired by this true story of what happened. I don't know if they changed the name, but it was like basically these projects, buildings where there was this lady that I think she like lived alone, this older woman, and someone broke into her house like through the window. She called the police. She's like on the phone with the police saying, this guy is trying to come in, he's breaking through the window. Then she like locked herself in the bathroom, and she's on the phone with 911 for like 10-12 minutes or something, describing like, oh my god, he won't leave, he's trying to kick in the door, and the whole thing is like, you know, being recorded and stuff. And the police took like 2 hours to get there, and it wasn't just her. Other people were calling and saying like, oh my god, I hear this screaming, this lady next door is like screaming bloody murder, like. And the police, just because of the area that it was in and that specific like project building, they took 3 hours to get there. So by the time they actually get there, this lady was like stabbed to death or something. And that's the original story that inspired the Candyman thing. And that's why the lady, when she goes down there to like interview people at this housing complex or whatever, that's basically like what inspired that. So there's a lot of like, and you know, the history when it shows the guy, they picked the perfect dude too. Was it Jason Todd or whatever, the guy that played Candyman?
Yeah.
Amazing actor, very creepy presence that he has. And
did you like the remake?
I loved the remake. Actually.
Me too.
What Absolutely. They did with the remake. Now I haven't seen Candyman 2 in a long time.
Me either.
But
since I was a little kid.
Right. It's definitely
since it first came out.
But the original Candyman is like so creepy and menacing. And hearing that they were remaking it, I was not thrilled. But I gotta say, the remake of Candyman is actually, I like what they did with it, because they brought back, it wasn't just like, oh, a remake. Like, they brought back the original character and stuff, but he's like not the main one. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to ruin if you haven't seen it, but
right.
It's very well done. I like what they did with it, basically.
Yeah, me too.
Candyman forever will be up there for me as one of the movies that devastated me for years to come. That and
Fire
Jaws,
in the Sky is one of them.
Yeah,
too.
also
That's
Fire in the Sky. Yeah. But Jaws, like, you know, being 3, seeing it anytime I was in a body of water.
Jaws never did it for me.
Feeling, you know,
Jaws
not the movie itself. Watching the movie itself, it's not scary at all. I'm just saying, that and like the alligator movie, not Lake Placid, but like whatever it was called. Like it just gave me the heebie-jeebies. Like even if I was swimming in a pool by myself, like late at night, like I would just get this weird feeling that something was gonna attack me and shit.
Yeah. There's a new show coming out on Max, or a movie called Caddo Lake. It looks like it might be pretty good. I think I'm gonna watch it. It comes out. It's gonna be on Max. I think it's on there right now, actually.
Oh, but, yeah.
I'll let you know after the show. Either way.
What you know about Anaconda?
Bro, I heard they're remaking it. But listen, it's gonna be a comedy, and it's gonna be Jack Black and somebody else. I forget who the other person was, but who the fuck was it? Well,
the original is a comedy.
No, I know, but this is gonna be unintentional
a real comedy. No,
but it's gonna be it's gonna be Jack Black and fuck, I can't remember who else. But
anyway, the original.
Someone's gonna be playing the straight man, and then someone's gonna like in movie terms, straight man means like the guy that like, you know, isn't funny. He's just straight laced, like
the setup guy.
Right.
Sets up all the jokes.
Right.
But the original Anaconda is amazing. The cast: Owen Wilson, Jennifer Lopez, John Voight, Ice Cube. Like, oh my god! I remember when we used to play this game of like we would say lines from movies, and you had to guess what movie it was from. And we had this ongoing joke, me and one of my brothers, that every time we played the game, we'd either start or end with, "This snake's out there this big." The snake's out there this big. Like every time, I don't know why, we just like loved Anaconda and how bad it was.
Yep.
But some good. Have you seen Fear Street on Netflix? The series. It's like
the trilogy.
Yeah.
I love them. Love them.
The first two were amazing.
The third one could have definitely been better, but I still liked it, and I still thought it was, you know, it didn't ruin it for me.
Fear, like, it didn't ruin it, but I don't know what it is about. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what it is specifically about, and they do it a lot. They did it with like The Purge and stuff. Like, I don't like when you have. Loso agrees. It's like you set this foundation. You set this foundation and this world that we're in, right? And like the second one, I love how they went back to the 70s because it's like it gives that early slasher feel, the cabin and everything. Like I loved it. But something about going back to like the 1700s and the settlers and the like. It's like, and don't get me wrong, because there's movies like The Witch that take place during that era that I actually like, but there's something about taking like an already established like world and then going, oh, we're gonna go back to the origins, and the origins is fucking early European settler pilgrimage, like it. It's like, like I don't know. Maybe it's like, I just don't buy it. I don't know if it's just like the fucking, the hair, the wigs, the clothing, like, I don't know. So I just like immediately takes me out and I'm like, all right, cool. Or like, I just think there's so many other cool like settings that they could have chose other than that. I get it. You're trying to show the origin of like, you know, I get it. I do understand, but I feel like there's a way you can execute that. That's not like, dull.
Which movie are you talking about?
I'm talking about Fear Street 3.
Oh yeah. Okay.
The 1700s portion.
Yeah.
Dog shit. And like watching paint dry, bro.
I know it was boring.
You know, it's like,
and it's and it is the closer, so it is like,
that's what I'm saying, because you can't set the bar that high with the first. The first one was I was hooked. Like 20 minutes into the first Fear Street, I was hooked. I was like, yo.
and then the second one even was fucking
lives up to the. So there's an often, you know, people often say horror movie sequels are never as good as the original. That's mostly, it's like when people say battle rappers can't make music, it's like for the most part, it's actually kind of true, but there are outliers. There are great horror movie sequels. Fear Street, the trilogy, the second one not only lives up to the first one, but the continuation and the story building and stuff. I think the second one might actually be a little better than the first one, for real.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're both just great.
Yeah,
movies,
it's at
but-
least equal, is my point.
yeah, for
You
sure.
can't
for sure.
set the bar so high with the first two films and then have the third one just be fucking watching paint dry. Now we're in the 1700s, and it's not like the thing about the first two that works so well is you're actually invested in the characters. So when people are like running away from danger, or that like you're like worried for them, even
Right.
like some of the side characters, even like, okay, the girl, even her sister, you're like, oh, I kind of don't like her, but I don't want her to get killed either. Like,
Right.
and the main characters in the first one, you're like, oh no, she's gonna get shredded to pieces. Like there's like an attachment built to the characters that you actually don't want to see them harmed. There isn't one fucking character in the third film that you give a fuck about.
No.
And I
not
think
at
that
all.
just comes from the setting, the time period, that like, I don't know what it is specifically, but it's like every time a movie does that, where it's like, oh, the first two, and then you go back to the early 1700s, and it's like, it just takes me out, and I'm like, I'm not invested. I don't care about any of these characters. For all I care, they could all get decapitated, and I wouldn't even be moved. Like, I wouldn't care.
Right.
And I feel like as a trilogy, amazing. Third one, you could have just tossed that out. I feel like there's a better setting. So there, you know, to end my rant, basically, you could do without watching the third one.
Yeah, for sure.
Or at least like fast forward some of the. I mean, I
Yeah,
guess if
'cause,
you want to
like,
see how it ends and stuff.
Yeah,
but
that's the thing, is like they make you have to watch it because you have to see how it, like, if you just watch the first two, you're gonna be like, fuck, well, I want to know the conclusion, you know. But
yeah,
I
bro.
don't know.
Just the Exorcist, the part where, is it in the third one? The part where the nurse walks past the corridor, and then immediately following her is a guy with the big like head scissors open, like Silent Hill, and he's like the mute, just like, dude, that scene gets me every time. Like, even if I'm not watching the movie, if it's just like thrown in a compilation, like,
yeah,
it's so creepy. It's like the color grading, the white, the all white like hallway, the white on the uniform that she's wearing, and just this menacing presence. And it's like the pace of how fast this thing's walking, how big the hedges are, and how it has them open, and like how it's perfectly aligned with where her head is and stuff. And you're just like, oh my god, he's gonna chop her head off with these scissors. Like, it just gets me every single time. It's crazy.
Now I want to get into a different topic, which still includes some slasher films. But before we do that, is there any other slasher films that we should talk about?
You know, I feel like some of them are kind of more, you know, you either know or you don't. Some of them are kind of
Like, you can't like if you haven't seen Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street, any of those, then watch them. Chucky, you know, like, those are the ones that I feel like are unmet. We don't really have to talk about. That's why, like, at the beginning, like, I had a long segment about Scream and Halloween, because those two movies are such staples in Halloween movies that I felt like that I needed to go into that. But
you know, there was the offshoot of all, like, I Know What You Did Last Summer, Urban Legend, like, all those movies are terrible. They're like fun and funny to watch, like, as a joke, kind of. Came after Scream came out, it was very like but you know, stuff like Hatchet's a great movie, but it's very like, it's not a comedy per se, but it's like, you know, kind of like Scream in a way, how it's like kind of parody slasher yet also a slasher.
Right.
But yo, have you ever seen? This is the last one I want to say is for like modern stuff. There's a show, and apparently it's like 5 seasons. I've only seen 3 of the seasons, but there's a show called Slasher on Netflix.
Yeah, yeah.
And each season,
I watched the first season.
the first season's the worst one.
Yeah, it was bad. That's why I didn't watch it.
Yeah. So the first season's not great. The second season I liked, and then the third season was kind of cool too. So it's not like the greatest in the world, you know. It's very like Netflixy type show, but each season is its own story. Has like a different killer. The killer has like its own backstory, its own like look, costume design type shit. So that's pretty cool. Like the first season's not great, but I did like the second season. It's like a completely different setting. It's like they're out in like the I forget where, but it's like out in the cold, like Alaska-ish. It's like they're in a cabin like in the snow, and they have to like snowmobile to places and stuff. So it's like just the isolation of it and like shit like that, you know. It's like a group of friends getting together for the weekend, and it's like, oh, there's someone has secrets, and like, oh, what happened 10 years ago when we were here type shit or something. I forget, I haven't seen it in a while, but from what I remember, the second and the third season is actually pretty good. I like.
Okay.
So if you're gonna check it out, you can probably just skip the first season of Slasher. You don't really need to watch
it's fucking bad. Now, one movie I don't want to forget here, because I feel like this movie's underrated. I feel like the original and the remake were both very underrated, and that is My Bloody Valentine.
Right.
I think that
In 3D.
I think that the My Bloody Valentine story is such a great story, and yeah, I bought the remake on DVD, and it came with the Blu-ray glasses and
Right.
3D glasses, and you could watch it in 3D. But no, I really I love the remake and I love the original. I love both movies.
Right. The thing about the original is like we were saying, it's very, very low budget. So some of the effects and stuff don't hold up as much. So the remake does have better, like more modern effects and stuff, but what it trades for in like cinematography and like advancements in effects, it kind of lacks a little in the character development that the original had. But both are good movies, definitely. I like the costume design of like the coal miner guy, you know what I mean? Like it reminds me of Kid Dangerous's battle.
Yeah.
Showing the guy with the coal miner.
There's definitely some other slasher movies, comedy slashers that we'll get into when we talk about the comedy horror movies.
Right. Like I'd bring like the Slumber Party Massacre type shit. It's like
that's
more comedy horror, but
Chud,
right. Oh my god, Chud.
Things like that. So, and I have a bunch of great ones for that too. So now the next thing, so I wanted to talk about, because for me, I love a good Halloween movie that takes place on Halloween. So that's my favorite thing, right? So now, I have a couple of movie recommendations. Do you?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. So I'm not. We don't have to give away a slasher one because that's what we're talking about. But we can give away any type of movie recommendation. So we'll each do one now, and then we'll each do one later. So I'm gonna go ahead and give my first one. It's a horror comedy, and it's Idol Hands.
Mm-hmm.
You have to watch Idle Hands. Yeah, obviously the movie Halloween, but and Hocus Pocus, yep. But Idle Hands is such a great movie, and it takes place on Halloween. And it's about a stoner kid, and he's trying to get this girl, but his hand gets possessed.
Oh.
Young
Jessica Alba, bro.
Young Jessica Alba, sexy as hell. Great movie. Definitely check that out. So Idle Hands is my first movie recommendation for the Halloween season.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead with yours.
Do you want me to pull it up and show them a little, or what?
Yeah, if you want to pull up Idle Hands real quick.
Yeah, you gotta talk about it a little more. I feel like 1999's Idle Hands, starring Devin Sawa.
Hold up, I got it.
As the comedy.
Yep, and where is it?
Yeah, I'll close that.
Vivica Fox is in it. So, tell the people where they can watch it.
Streaming, it says Pluto TV, so that's free. It might have ads or commercials or whatever.
Yeah.
But Prime Video, Amazon.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can watch it for free on Pluto, I think.
And if you have Amazon Prime, you can watch it on that.
But basically, the premise is like, this young stoner kid. He's like really doing nothing with his life, and
hey, it's my movie recommendation.
All right, well then tell it.
I was in the middle of it. I was in the middle of it.
Nah. You were like, "Oh, what's yours?" So you.
I said a stoner kid, and then you said you want me to pull it up. I said, yeah.
All right. Well, you can listen back. You said you were pretty much done, but keep going.
All right. Well, because you hadn't pulled it up yet. So it's about this stoner kid. Devin Sawa plays this kid. What's his name in the movie?
I don't know.
Shit, what is his name? Anyway, and he has these two friends. Anton, and he has these two friends, Panub and Seth Green. Mick. And he gets stoned all the time. And then, the idle hands are the devil's playground, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's a lazy bum who just sits around and smokes weed. And his hand gets possessed, man, and he goes and has to try to get it unpossessed, and in the midst of it, he's trying to get it in with young Jessica Alba.
Mm-hmm.
And, without giving too much away, man, it's just a great fun movie to watch during the Halloween season.
And look at that. Look at young.
There's a lot of great stuff in this movie. Everybody's funny in it. I'm not a big Seth Green fan, but he is hilarious in this movie. And the guy who plays Panub, he's awesome in this movie. And yeah, man, it's just a great watch. And there's a lot of weed smoking. It's fun.
Damn. Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's what it is.
It's a great film. Also recommend. All right, so mine is, this was actually not only one of my favorite horror movies, but one of my favorite movies of all time growing up. I've watched this movie probably 300 times, and it is Tales from the Crypt, Demon Night.
Demon fucking.
If you've never seen Tales from the Crypt, Demon Night, bro.
Just watched it the other night.
This is one of the best movies ever. So, the thing about Tales from the Crypt, there's often a lot of like cheese, which sometimes it's like, oh, that's kind of cool. The other movie, The Bordella of Blood, is actually like kind of like a sequel almost, but it's not good. The tone is off. I feel like what makes Demon Night work in every fucking sense. It's just like we say, like, you know, sometimes movies get more points for being like fun. Well, this movie is like, I wouldn't call it like fun. Like, it's not like an adventure you'd want to be on, but it's so like enthralling, kind of. And you got Billy fucking Zane,
Yep.
who plays like the demon. And then you got William Sadler is the demon knight. He's the knight that fights the demons. You got a young Jada Pinkett Smith before she got smithed.
Right.
CCH Pounder, you've definitely seen her. Thomas Hayden Church, like the supporting cast is great. You know, it's early 90s, like 5? Yeah, 1995. Bro, I remember being in summer camp and sitting and telling this kid basically I sat there for an hour and told this kid the whole plot of the movie and stuff. And he was just me telling him the story of the movie. This kid sat there like listening intently for an hour because, you know, his parents didn't let him watch movies like that when he was a kid. So basically the whole point is, you know, he's a knight that fights demons. And it opens right off with immediately the movie starts out. It's like a car chase set to Hey Man shot by Filter. From then on, it just gets incredible. The acting by Billy Zane is like, it's very unsettling. William Sadler, he sells you on being like this knight of demons before she got Smith. Yeah. And bro, it's just a great fucking movie. Basically, he has this little like ancient like artifact thing. He has like these stars on his hands, and like you wind up finding out, like, you know, why he has those. It's like this ancient like artifact. Every time he enters a room, he drops like a drip in a doorway, and then you see it like magically sealed. So, and then you find out later like what it is, and you know, what's in the artifact and why it's like magic basically. And yeah, bro, it's just, I can't recommend this movie enough. If you've never seen Demon Knight, this is a fucking horror classic that everyone should at least watch one time. I would say own and watch multiple times. Great fucking film, right up there with Idle Hands as one of my favorite 90s horror films.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
Before the Smith, Jada Pinkett. After
Yep.
the Smith.
Before the Smith. But yeah,
After the Smith. Conniving.
Demon, yo, I saw, you know, a post, someone posted, like, a buddy of mine posted something about like, oh, this is who used to tell me bedtime stories, and it was a picture of the Crypt Keeper, you know, and that's so funny because I always used to watch the Tales from the Crypt episodes, and I've actually been watching them, a lot of them again recently this year, and they're fucking great. They're cheesy, but they're great.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I've been watching all of them, and I was gonna watch Bordello of Blood this weekend, but
Bordello of Blood.
yeah, I know,
Myth.
but I just wanted to rewatch it just because I haven't seen it in a long time. But all right, so now moving on to, we'll give our last movie recommendation towards the end of the show. So moving on to Halloween movies that take place during Halloween. Where'd it go? All right, so, and I know there's more than this, but this is a good start, and then I'll get into the deeper search. But so I wanna start with, and I know Pablo probably still hasn't watched this movie yet, but I hope he does. Is Hubie Halloween with Adam Sandler. It's on Netflix. It's goofy as hell. I'm not even a huge Adam Sandler fan, but this movie it captures the essence of the Halloween feel in New England. And
I
it
tried, bro. I got like 10 minutes in, and I was like, I can't.
it's not
The
the
accent and shit. Like, ugh.
it's not the like it's not the goofy stuff that I love about it. It's everything else. It's all the other like aspects of it. Just it just feels like 90s Halloween. Like it feels like it gives me like a hocus pocus feel. And there are funny parts, but I don't know. It's not for everyone, but I do enjoy it. And I watch it every year since it came out. So yeah, I do enjoy Hubie Halloween, but but I understand. I definitely understand. But if you could get through it, you might like it. You might like it. Yeah, J Rock liked it. But no, it's not for everyone. I agree. So now here's a movie that I've never seen, Pablo. And maybe you have. There's an original and there's a remake. Okay? You with me?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So this movie is called Ginger Snaps.
Bro, I just watched this 2 weeks ago.
I was gonna watch it the last weekend, but I ended up watching something else. So, what's the verdict? What? Hold on. Did you watch the original or did you watch the remake?
I watched the original. I
Jack,
watched
I'm
the
getting there.
sequel.
Jack, slow down. I'm getting there, yo. Good.
Yeah, there's two. I watched the original. The sequel, definitely not as good as the original, but Ginger Snaps is amazing.
It is. Okay, so I'm gonna watch
You know,
it.
often Jennifer's bodies are often like you know, hailed as like, oh, this movie like, and I forget which one came first. I think Ginger Snaps was first.
Yeah.
But I mean they're both good movies for different reasons, but yeah, I feel like Ginger Snaps is one that gets overlooked, slept on a lot, very under the radar movie for real.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna watch it this weekend for sure. Then. Thank you. I'm glad I got that because here's the thing. It was intriguing, and I've always heard good things about it, but I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I want to waste my time watching it. So, but I am definitely gonna watch it now.
No, you definitely need to watch the first one at least.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna watch it. So like Jack said, my next one was well, my next two was so Night of the Demons. Never seen it, Pablo?
Nah, I've definitely seen it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so wild teenage girls hold a Halloween seance in an old funeral parlor to scare their friends. This movie is a classic. I've been watching this movie since I don't even know. I don't even know, since it came out, probably. I don't know. I was probably showing it when I was extremely young. But yeah, that is a horror classic, Night of the Demons. If you've never seen Night of the Demons, you have to go watch that movie. You have to go watch that movie.
Fresco's comment reminded me of the scene in Reservoir Dogs. He's like, motherfucker, I'm trying to watch The Lost Boys.
Yeah.
Great, by the way.
Yeah. Lost Boys is a great movie. Yeah, we're gonna talk about vampires in another episode. In another Halloween episode. But so Donnie Darko does take place on Halloween. Not really like a Halloween movie. It just takes place on Halloween. Fresco said Ginger Snaps was terrible.
No, don't listen to him. You don't know what he's talking about.
I'm not.
It's, bro, one of the best parts of the movie is the actress's wig is so bad because
Now, have you watched Tales of Halloween?
maybe, I don't know.
So I believe it's a fairly recent. Let me pull it up. I think it's a pretty recent. It's like a show, and I watched. There was like a couple good ones, but it was like an anthology. We won't talk about it now because we'll talk about it when we talk about the anthology series. But I don't even think it's worth talking about because it just it just wasn't good. Like there was a couple episodes that were good. Let me see. Let me pull it up.
No, Jack, I faced that fear. I remember when I turned like 14, I looked in that motherfucking mirror and I said, Candyman, Candyman, like 27 times. And Bloody Mary.
Yep. But yeah, it's a movie. It's a movie. My bad. Yeah,
I did see the movie then. Right.
Yeah.
It's like,
it was an anthology movie, and just like some of the story, like the first two stories were good, and then the rest were like
right.
Yeah, so
VHS or whatever. It's like there's like a couple cool stories, but
yeah,
like meh. Like
so let's see. Let me obviously, Hocus Pocus and Trick or Treat, obviously. Well, I'm gonna go more into detail about Trick or Treat on the anthology episode, but that is the perfect Halloween movie.
I know that there's something I'm not thinking of right now.
Nah, hold on. This is just a small list. Hold on, I got a bigger list.
I know every year Nightmare Before Christmas comes on, and it's like, I don't know. I don't really consider that like, I don't know, that Casper, like the Addams Family.
Yeah. E.T.
Those.
E.T.
Right. Like I said, Ernest Scared Stupid is more of a Halloween movie to me.
Yeah, I love, dude. Rest in peace to my boy. Me and him used to watch Ernest Scared Stupid and all the other Ernest movies. I love Jim Barney. I love the Ernest movies.
We did kind of miss one in the iconic. I don't know if you consider it slasher, but iconic horror movie villains.
Okay.
Pennywise.
Oh, of course. I mean that. Yeah, I guess we did miss that. Because yeah, that's not really a slasher, but like you could put him in that category, or you could put him in the monster category. But yeah, I mean, the original It and the remake, I like both of them a lot.
Right. I like the remake better. Honestly,
speaking of
the original, it's because the original was like a TV miniseries, and
yes,
the ending is just so weird with the spider, and it's just like
it's super weird. But
and the part with the children is always better than when they're adults for some reason.
Yeah.
So like It Chapter 1, the remake, amazing fucking movie.
Now, that being said, speaking of Stephen King, I just watched
The Shining. Or no.
No. The Shining is one of the best movies ever. I don't care what anyone says.
Could Jack Torrance be considered a slasher icon?
Yeah. Fucking right. Dude, that is one of the greatest movies of all time, period. Never mind horror. But, no, what I was going to say, I just watched last night the new Salem's Lot.
Oh, yeah.
So, we're not really talking vampires right now, but since I watched it last night, it was cool. Like the first movie is like 3 hours long. This one was a little under 2 hours. Now the original, they did a really good job with the fucking main vampire. But they just made him look like Nosferatu, really. And then but honestly, the original is a good movie, but you're better off just watching the remake because it's a little shorter and it's basically the same thing, and there's a little more action. But the it wasn't bad. Yeah, I'll say that it wasn't bad. I give it probably like a 6, maybe a 6.5.
I like the story of Salem's Lot. Stephen King has a lot of Pet Cemetery, like
There were a lot of good fight scenes in it. It's just I feel like the end fell flat a little bit, the very very end. But overall, it's definitely worth a watch, and it's on HBO Max right now, and it's 100% worth a watch.
Okay.
I might even give it like a 7. I'll probably give it like a 7 actually, because it was good. I was interested the whole time. The fight scenes were dope. The acting, even though they were basically nobodies, the acting wasn't bad.
Right.
So yeah, definitely check it out.
Wait, isn't the Crow? Doesn't the Crow take place on Halloween?
Yes, doesn't it?
I think so, right? Or All Hallows Eve or whatever the fuck.
Let me check, because I got a couple more lists that have like more movies on it.
Mm-hmm. And Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Oh, Fun Size. That's a wicked fun movie to watch. It's like it's about a little. It's PG, but it's like a fun. Oh, it's PG-13 actually. It's a fun movie to watch. It's more for like teenagers, but it's a fun movie to watch. Ernest Scared Stupid, of course. All Hallows Eve. Amityville Horror takes place on Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Curse of Halloween, Nightmare Before Christmas. The Coven, The Fear. Wrong Turn 5, Bloodlines takes place on.
Oh my god, bro.
Yeah.
All the wrong turns are wild, but that was especially crazy.
Yeah.
The Frighteners. Michael J. Fox is
Frighteners. I love that movie, and rest in peace to my boy again. Me and him used to watch that movie. He loved that movie. Where the hell is it? Face. The Collection. The Collection is the sequel to The Collector.
Yeah.
Which wasn't bad either.
No, it was pretty good.
Creepshow takes place on Halloween, but we'll talk about that when we talk about anthologies.
Yeah.
The Crow, yes, it does take place on Halloween, 100%.
I like one of the stories in Creepshow 2, the Blob one is fire.
Mm-hmm. No, Creepshow definitely didn't stand the test of time.
No, there's too many of the stories just like meh. I like the monster in the box. I like I was gonna say Liam Neeson. What the fuck's his name? The Naked Gun dude or whatever.
Oh, Leslie Nielsen.
I like the story with him is kind of funny. It's like Barry's Ted Danson and his girl to their necks in sand, and he's like, ha 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 ha.
Yes.
That's kind of fire. But the
Dr.
Roach one and stuff. It's like, ugh, I can't even watch it. Like, I get it. It is like gives you the heebie-jeebies, but I can't watch.
You want to hear something funny?
Ugh, what?
The bury the heads in sand and wait for the tide to come in, right?
Yeah.
They caught them cheating.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to say to my girl when we first met, like, if I ever catch you cheating, I'm gonna take you and him to the beach, and I'm gonna bury you to your neck in the sand and wait for the tide to come in. I used to say that to
Oh my god.
her. Well, you got to know what's gonna happen. I'm just being
Facts.
just so she's aware of the consequences beforehand. Yeah, Lo. So collector and collection both fire. But
No, it's a pretty good movie.
I said that to her once, just joking.
You know, it's a pretty good movie. Like looking back on it now, just the lore of it all, and if you had the DVD and stuff, there was like all these extra features you could go in and find out like the backstory of all. It was 13 ghosts.
13 ghosts.
Just the like design of a lot of the ghosts and stuff were cool. I like the backstory of it a lot. You know,
It doesn't have great replay value, but it was good when it first came out.
Right.
And when I rewatched it some years later, it was still good. But then I watched it again, I think a little too soon.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
it's definitely not one you go back and watch all the time.
It's
but
worth a watch, though.
Yeah, it's definitely worth a watch. 13 Ghosts, pretty good.
Let's see. I definitely got some more here that are set on Halloween, and then we can talk about some other stuff. Now Hocus Pocus for me, I love that movie. So when I was a kid, that movie came out. Pablo, can you look up what year that movie came out? Hocus Pocus.
What 96?
Yeah, it was not. I think it was before that, 93 or 94.
Okay, hold on. 93.
Yeah. So I was 9, and when that movie came out, I remember back then, like when you ordered something on pay-per-view, you had it for 24 hours straight, and it would just play until it was over, and then it would start over and replay, and it would just keep cycling until the 24 hours was up.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, and I sat there because it was like a big snowstorm, and we had days off of school, so I remember just sitting on the couch and just watching it over and over and over again, and I kept obviously I would like fall asleep on the couch, but then I'd wake up and just watch, and I sat there. I laid on the couch for that whole 24 hours, and I probably slept maybe like, I don't know, like 8 hours total out of the whole 24. So I watched the movie so many times. I loved it that much when I was a kid. So I was 9, you know, and it still brings me joy to this day when I watch it. But the second one was so bad, bro. They ruined they ruined the allure of the first one. They ruined the legendary status of that movie, of the original movie. I feel like, because it was so bad, and there was a clear agenda, and like, I don't know, just it was crazy.
I was not even considering watching the sequel.
I had to, just to see. And you know what? I said to myself, and my girl said to me, like, she's like, "Don't watch it." I'm like, I know I shouldn't watch it. I'm like, but I'm gonna give it a shot. And I wanted to break my TV. I wanted to throw my remote at my TV. I was like, you bitches. But anyway,
the bitches.
But nah, it was not good.
Wait, Sleepy Hollow takes place on Halloween.
Sleepy Hollow. I was just looking at that. Yeah.
Ichabod Crane. It's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
You know, then you got some that are like Pumpkinhead and stuff. But what we didn't mention is Leprechaun.
Leprechaun.
Dinanon.
Yep.
Which is hilarious. The fact that Jennifer Aniston is in the first one.
Yeah, she's in the first. Or is it the third one?
No, she's in the first one.
Okay, I
First
think she's also in the third one. I think
I don't know about that.
somebody's in the third one. Hold on, I'll check.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody's.
No, but like somebody who became somebody. But yeah, go ahead.
No, I mean that's just we're talking about iconic slasher characters. Yeah, the butterfly effect. Hell yeah, I've seen it. It's funny that actually came into my mind when we were talking about Idle Hand. Isn't the kid from my cousins in that too?
What movie?
Butterfly effect.
That's a great movie, but from Idle Hands, yeah, Panub, yeah.
Yeah, Panub.
He's in that.
Uh-huh.
But talking about slasher films, let's be real.
These dreams, they're real.
These dreams, they're real.
The only good part of the remake.
Yeah. So I Know What You Did Last Summer was a good movie.
It was all right.
So now here's where I think the difference is with this is I'm like what 4 or 5 years older than you,
right?
So like when that movie came out in what 96 I think or something like that.
Yeah,
98. Yeah, came out in 98. So I was like 14 and I was in love with Jennifer Love Hewitt.
I think she's the thing that holds that movie down, to be honest.
Yeah, but also it's just like even when I watch the movie now, it could be what's the word I'm looking for? Whatever, but anyway,
nostalgia, like what?
Yeah, nostalgia. I kept wanting to say lethargic, but yeah, nostalgia. It could be that nostalgia feel, but when I watch, I Know What You Did Last Summer. Like I'm not mad at it.
I think a lot of it is like the costume design of the kill. Ooh, like the fisherman in the hood.
It's not
whatever. Like.
Look, it's not great, but
I like Ryan Phillips.
It's better than
Michelle Gellar, Freddie Prinze Jr. Like everything about it, like on paper, should work.
And, but you know what?
The first, I mean, it's definitely better than the second one. Oh my god, it's
better than a lot of fucking horror movies, though.
That's true.
Especially for a PG-13, because we got to remember that's PG-13.
I was just gonna say, he said Leprechaun's trash, but I was gonna say, but Leprechaun in the Hood and Leprechaun Back to the Hood is amazing. But those are more comedies, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Leprechaun in Space is incredible.
Yeah,
just like
yeah. So, is there any other legend? Let's see. Popular stuff.
I mean, The Craft. Everyone loved that movie when it came out, and it's like, I guess I get why. Like 4 hot chicks,
What about
Bulk and shit? And
what about Hills Have Eyes? Are they slashers?
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up too. The original is amazing.
Amazing, absolutely amazing.
Carrie, I guess.
American Psycho.
Nah, I don't know if I could say like I guess a psychological thriller kind of, but there is some like horror-y scenes.
Oh, there's a movie, I think it's called Hush.
Yeah, that movie's wild, bro.
Yeah, that movie's fucking crazy. Definitely see Hush is worth a watch for sure. That's a good slasher flick. But definitely, like I said, even if you've seen like one of the other Strangers movies, and didn't like it, I promise you, The Strangers Chapter 1 that it just came out this year, 2024. It's definitely worth a watch for sure. And it's a true story, and you'll know that at the end of the movie. So like, yeah, it's a true story.
No, The Hills Have Eyes is based on this what's it called? The Sawyer family is like this crazy.
Yes.
Back in the day, these like cannibals that lived in this cave is like, you know, the lore of this town basically is like this entire incest family, and that's kind of what Wrong Turn is now too. Is I forget the full name, but you could look up the something the whatever Sawyer family and stuff, and it's it's a wild story about this like family of incest, and you know, they lived out and supposedly were like cannibals or whatever, and you know, so that's kind of cool. But
have you ever seen the movie Freaky with Vince Vaughn?
yeah,
Hey, bro, I actually like that movie. It's funny.
It's not bad.
The kills, hold on, it's funny and the kills are amazing.
Right.
The kills in that movie are great.
If you like that Freaky, it's like basically Freaky Friday. They switch bodies.
Yes.
Only it's like the killer, right? So if you
the
like
dad
that,
switches with his daughter, which is crazy.
there's a movie on Netflix that came out not long ago called Totally Killer. Have you seen that?
No.
It's very similar how it's like kind of comedy horror-ish. It's basically about
Netflix.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. Came out maybe like 3 months ago or something. I've actually watched it twice because at first it's like, I was like, is this a good movie? I was like, wait, what? And so I had to like watch it again and be like, wait, is this good? Like,
I was gonna watch this, but
yeah, it's worth a watch. If you like horror movies, it's worth a watch. It's basically this killer from the 80s comes back to finish one of his like victims that got away, and this girl's like devastated because you know, something happens to one of her loved ones. So her nerdy friend fucking builds a time machine, and it's basically a lot of it is like how a girl, if someone from today, like a Gen Zer, was brought back to the 80s, how like ridiculous, how they're like, oh my god, that's so offensive, and oh, what, you can't say that, you can't call them this and that. Oh my god, are you smoking cigarettes? And are you know what I mean? Like a lot of it is like the absurdity of like a Gen Zer in the 80s.
yeah,
You know, unprotected sex, like slasher. So it does bring back like the slasher feel, like the costumes, I'm like the wardrobe design and stuff. Like a lot of it is a little, you know, some of it's kind of cheesy, but it's like, you know, good cheese, like just like old slasher movies. So it's definitely worth a watch if you haven't seen it.
Yeah. Oh, another good slasher movie, if you haven't seen it, is Haunt. It's these kids. I believe that's on Netflix too, or it's on one of those streaming services. But Haunt, it looks cheesy and it looks like it's not great if you watch the preview, but like just don't watch the preview. And there's two movies called there's two movies called Haunt. So don't watch the wrong one. This one has like a half a clown mask and then half of like a luchador mask type thing. But so Haunt, this movie, it's about they go to a haunted house, and there's a few movies like this where like they go to the haunted house and like some of the stuff, you know, turns out to be real or whatever, or this happened. But this is actually a really, really good watch. I recommend you watch it, especially with your girl if you got one. Yeah, man, Haunt. Not The Haunt, just Haunt.
Okay.
So, yeah. If you want to pull it up so they know the right one, because there's multiple. It's the 2019 one.
Did you see that fucking?
It's on Tubi, Amazon Prime.
No. Did you see that movie Happy Death Day?
Yeah.
It's not bad. I know, and they made like a sequel.
I liked it.
I made a sequel. Right?
Yes, the sequel
Happy Death Day to You or something.
It wasn't terrible, the sequel,
but it wasn't as good as the first.
But yeah, I felt like
it's one right here.
It didn't need a sequel, is what I was thinking. You know,
right. That's the one.
Yes, that's the one right there. Yeah,
Huh.
that's cool.
All right, I'll
So
check it
yeah,
out.
yep. Definitely check that out. So
Yeah, time machine shit is amazing. I love the when people like start talking about like the paradoxes of time travel and shit like it. So it's funny. It's like a time travel movie and like a slasher at the same time, kind of that
yeah,
totally killer movie. It's worth a watch.
okay, okay.
But
Now,
if we're talking about Nightmare on Elm Street, just real quick, I want to say
okay,
there's two actually scary ones. Well, actually, I guess 2.5. The second one is kind of creepy. It's a whole different vibe with the kid in the school and shit. But the original Nightmare on Elm Street, scary as shit. And I would argue scarier than the first Nightmare on Elm Street is actually A New Nightmare. Wes Craven's A New Nightmare is such a good script,
so underrated. So
and
one
it's
of my
so
favorite. It's probably my
creepy.
second favorite behind the original.
Right. It's essentially like how they tied in like the Hansel and Gretel-ish stuff and just like the new design of Freddy, but also they got the dude who played Robert Englund is in it, and it's basically about the actress that plays Nancy from the first movie.
1996, right?
Yeah. It's about the actress that plays Nancy in the first movie having nightmares about Freddy. And it's funny because she like runs into the actor that plays Freddy and stuff, and he's like, oh, like she's like kind of scared of him and stuff. And Wes Craven keeps calling her, and he's like, oh, I got a new idea, I got this new script, and she's like, they're like filming a new Nightmare on Elm Street in the movie.
Yeah.
So it's very like meta and like breaks the fourth wall a couple times, but essentially it's like
way ahead of its time.
Yeah, and like I said, the new design of Freddy, and it's just like creepy, especially with how like ridiculous some of the other ones got, like the Dream Warriors. So like some of the kills are funny and stuff, and like the other movies, like how he squashes her like a bug, like the Welcome to Prime Time, bitch. Like all the some of the Freddy kills are funny, but this is like an actual like it's like scary. So I love A New Nightmare is one of my favorite.
Yep. Now, have you seen the movie The Hunt?
Maybe The Hunt.
Yeah, pull it up if you can. It's 2020. Blonde girl on the front. It's like an orange cover.
Oh, wait. Is she like at a party or something? Or oh no, yes,
You're thinking of Ready or Not. You're thinking
no, it's not Ready or Not. It's a different movie.
Ready or Not was
you know this movie you're talking about. It's like yeah, is this the movie where she goes into the gas station, the old
Yes.
Yes.
Dude,
this is a great fucking movie, bro.
Yes, bro. This movie is so fucking good. Yeah, I love this movie. I definitely recommend you go watch this movie. It's on Amazon Prime, Apple TV, whatever. But yeah, definitely worth a watch.
Yeah, Hillary Swank. Oh my god. Right.
Is it Hillary? No, it's not Hillary. It's not.
No,
Hillary
it is.
Swank.
No, she's definitely in it.
Oh, okay, not the main character though. I thought.
No, the main character isn't that the chick from like Glow and stuff. Gorgeous Ladies Wrestling. Yeah.
But yeah, that's a great movie.
Yeah. Without saying too much because you don't want to ruin anything. It's just if
there's a
there's some great scenes in this.
Yeah, there's a lot that I don't want to ruin in that movie for sure.
But when you first brought it up, it reminded me of this other movie where I forget. It's like these like Australian dudes or something, and they have this like this chick is like at this like penthouse, and he's like sleeps with her. Something happens, and they like try to kill her. They leave her in the desert, and she like somehow survives, and then she like comes back at them. And like starts taking them out one at a time, and it was like newer, some blonde. I forget what the name of it is, but
I don't know.
It's definitely similar to that, like The Hunt or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I forget
Oh,
what it's
yeah,
called.
I do. I can't think of what it is either. Fuck, but I just forgot my next movie recommendation. Shit.
Well, anyway, I could tell a funny Halloween story. You know what?
Yeah, go ahead, because I gotta try to remember my next.
All right, so like we were talking about before, trick or treating back in the day when you were a kid, like you know.
Oh yeah, no, I meant to get into that way earlier in the show.
Well, that's what I'm saying because it's like 2.5 hours in, we're just talking about movies, so I figured
Pablo and I
pivot.
used to actually trick or treat together, real shit.
Right. I remember one time my mom like wouldn't let me go without and social actually like volunteered to be my guardian for this I think it was the last time I ever went trick-or-treating, to be real.
Yeah.
Probably like 12 or something. But so this one year, and I lived in the perfect neighborhood for trick-or-treating, actually.
Yeah.
The perfect neighborhood. It was like I lived on this cul-de-sac road. So, and but you could walk out all the way up this street, and then if you turn left, it was like an entire loop of this residential like neighborhood.
Yep.
So it was actually perfect. All the houses weren't that far in between each other to walk to. And you know, there was a couple houses down on the cul-de-sacs. A lot of people didn't think it was worth going all the way down this road just for this few houses. But living on the road, I knew I was smart enough to know that oh yeah, this one house at the end, because not many people go there, every year they gave out full king size candy bars. And because not a lot of people went down this road, they would always have extra. So we would always you know, hit that one last because you get the leftovers. But so essentially this year, I think it was me and one of my brothers and one of my friends, and we were like by ourselves. I think maybe we had like a guardian or something a little before this, but we were like getting old enough where it was like, all right, well, you could, you know, just do this loop by yourself, basically. So, you know, we do it throughout the night. You know, we're young trick-or-treaters. We're having fun. We're doing dumb shit. Not so much like mischievous. We weren't like, you know, out looking for trouble type shit. We were just like, you know, young and bright-eyed, bushy-tailed trick-or-treaters. So, you know, we do this like a loop. You know, we got our pillowcases. We're getting a decent amount of candy. And a couple different times we had crossed paths with this older group of kids that were all clearly like teenagers. And I knew one of them, and I knew where he lived, but I didn't know who the fuck the rest of these kids were. But basically, every time we crossed paths with them, they were trying to bully us a little, tease us and shit. And like we crossed paths with them like 3 times at this point, and they kept like fucking with us. So I was getting aggravated, and I remember at one point, they something like went by me. I was like, wait a minute, what the fuck? And then I like felt like something's like wet, sticky shit on the side of my costume. I was like, what is that? And I realized they threw I don't know if it was an egg or multiple eggs. Clearly missed, but one of them like cracked on the ground and like it splattered on me a little bit. And at first I didn't even like realize it till I heard the cackle of a chud. I heard a chud cackle from a half a block up, and I looked.
If you don't know what a chud is, stay tuned next week for Unscripted Logic.
So a chun, the laugh of a chun is what I heard, and I was like, "Wait, what? Why is this chun bag laughing?" And that's when I realized, oh, they're messing. They just threw an egg at us and missed. So immediately, the people I was with are like, "Oh, fuck these kids, whatever." Like, part of me was like, thinking about going and fighting them, but there was like, we were outnumbered like 7-3, and they were all at least 3 years older than us. So, I'm kind of stewing about it. We continue trick-or-treating, but at the same time, like now, like part of my costume is literally like wet and sticky because it's egg yolk. And I'm kind of stewing about it a little bit, I'm like, these fucking kids. And mind you, like I said, I didn't have a guardian this time. So, and I felt like
he didn't have me this time.
I knew they wouldn't have pulled that shit if I was with my brothers and shit. So I was like kind of
Facts.
stewing about it. And then literally we were on like the last lap of the night walking back down my road. And I saw them. I saw them like 200 feet up before my house. So knowing that and they're walking in the direction of the cul-de-sac. So I know they're going to have to turn around and walk back by my house. So immediately I was like, yo, hurry up. Like, I didn't even tell the people I was with. I was just like, yo, hurry up. Come on. I bolted into my front door through all my access shit on the ground. I ran straight to the fridge, grabbed the carton of eggs, dumped them all into my pillowcase. And because I dumped out the candy, threw an entire carton of eggs in the pillowcase, twisted the end, ran outside as quick as I could. And, people are following me because they don't know what the fuck I'm going to do. They didn't see me grab the eggs.
Right.
I run out. I see them. They're just passing. And I think they knew, they saw me and they knew. So they were trying to speed walk. So because when I came back outside, they were at least 100 feet up the other direction, like past my house now, walking the other way. And I go, oh, fuck. Like, if I'm going to do it, now's the time. So I ran to the end of my lawn. I dropped the pillowcase. Like, I was trying to just like lay it down so I could open them and get to these eggs. When I dropped it, I dropped it a little too hard, and I was at the very end of my lawn. So they didn't hit the grass, they hit the cement. And every egg cracked except for one. And I'm like, motherfucker. So I pull this egg out. I go, I got one shot. One shot. There's 7 of them. And at this point, they're about 500 feet away, I'd say. Now, in my mind, I'm like, I could get closer, or I could make sure I Tom Brady this shit right now. So I run out to the street. I say, hey, fuckwads or something, whatever, 13-year-old insults or whatever I thought of at the time.
Yeah.
They turn around, and this one kid, the one that was like the cackling Chun bag the whole time, that was like, meh, 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 meh. And I didn't see who threw the original one, but I just was like, this motherfucker. He was the only one that didn't turn around. Everyone else turned around. He didn't. He kept walking forward, and he was like mouthing off while looking the other way. I literally put like one hand up in the sky, like I'm like testing for wind.
If you're talking shit, don't look away from me while you're talking shit, because I'm gonna clock you.
I arc back with my right hand, put my left hand in the sky like a javelin thrower. Bro, when I tell you, I fucking hummed this thing in the air. Immediately when it left my hand, I was like, I'm like, that's not gonna hit them. I overthrew it. Bro, because this kid kept walking, it could not have been better timed. I overthrew it, and he walked directly into and all the other kids are turned around, so they saw this happen. Hummed it. It went like would have been over him, yet because he kept walking, I saw it beautifully because it was right under the street light. I saw it. The egg, it hit the back of his head. He's wearing a hat, right? It goes cracks on the back of his head, and I saw the egg yolk flip over, land on the top of his hat, and then break. And the egg yolk broke and just splattered and like consumed his entire hat in egg yolk. And to the point when he turned around to say something, and dude, the force that this thing hit him with, it like adjusted his hat forward. So now it was like it hit him so hard, and when the egg like cracked, it literally like moved his hat up so the front was like in front of his eyes a little bit. When he turned around to start going little bit, it dripped down in front of him in his mouth, and was like, this dude had fucking the egg white was like dripping from his face while he went to like say some mouth shit.
Nah,
you're bugging. So literally, he went to like say something like "oh fuck it," and literally it dripped in his mouth, and he like gagged from it, all within like 2 seconds. And but
Yeah, that's disgusting.
I knew immediately as soon as it hit the back of his head, I was like, I need to run because there's 7 of them, and they're all way older than me.
Yep.
So I immediately, because I'm in my front lawn. As soon as it hits them and that happens, they're all like, what? Like coming after me. I fucking booked it as fast as I could to my front door, like jumped through the doorway. And there were like one kid, he was like running up the lawn at me to fight me. But I knew as soon as I got home, my 3 older brothers and all their friends were there and shit.
I was there. I know I was there.
So he got to the front door and was like, you know, trying to do something, but then he saw all the people that were there and be like, yo, what's up? What's up? And they're like, fucking. Then he tried to rat me out to my parents and shit. And it was my dad. So my dad's sitting there going, whoa, why'd he throw an egg at? He's like, are you sure it was him?
Yep, facts.
I know it was him. I saw it. And like the other 6 kids were like, we saw him. And he's like, oh, well, I don't know. He's like, my kid wouldn't do that. So like, just like being a total dick about it. And I just looked at he looked at me. He's like, "Did you do that?" And I said, "They were throwing eggs at us first." And my dad just went, "Huh? Well, I guess you know." He's like, "Sounds like karma to me." He's like, "Maybe you shouldn't be walking around throwing eggs at little kids if you don't want them like thrown back at you," type shit. And basically, they wind up like being little bitches, and they walked away like, you know, like, oh, we're gonna get you back for that. Now we know where you were. Like, yeah, okay, bro. But bro, I will never forget that because that was like one of the last times I ever went trick or treating, and just to end the night with the perfect.
Well, it's funny.
Like
it's funny because we're gonna also end the night with a great story from the last time I went trick-or-treating. So, but yeah, that's amazing. Good thing you got your ass home before they were able to catch you.
But like I said,
you know it would have been bad for them either way after, but good thing you made it home.
I was like stewing about the shit because I'm like, bro, fuck you. There's 7 of you. They're clearly all like 4 years older than me.
Yeah.
It's not like we were fucking with them to begin with. So I'm like, why are we throwing eggs at younger kids anyway? Like not someone's house.
They were like the grade younger than me. Like
right.
Yeah, me and one of his other brothers. Yeah. So so do you want to give so I'm gonna tell my story too, but do you want to give our last recommendation real quick, and then I'll tell my story to end the show, and
sure.
And also next week when we do the next Halloween episode, at the beginning, I'm definitely going to get into trick-or-treating and because I have a lot to talk about as far as that goes. And I meant to do it this episode, but I totally forgot, and that's okay because it ended up being a great episode. But real quick before we give these movie recommendations, I just want to give another great slasher movie. But actually, I'll save that for the comedy ones. I'll save that. We'll give our recommendations. So I actually thought of one, and then I thought of another one. So I'm actually gonna give two more. So do you want to go ahead and go first?
All right, you indecisive motherfucker.
No, I have 2. Yeah, I have. Well, if you want to give 2 more, go ahead. Well, I'll just give one.
Yeah, all right. So I'll do one. It's a different one than I originally was going to say, but I'm going to pick. Hold on, pull this up real quick. Ready? Right, it's there now. So mine.
I swear, if this is one I was going to pick, it's going to be funny. Oh, man.
1991's The People Under the Stairs. Another Wes Craven film. But, oh my God. If you've never seen The People Under the Stairs, bro. It's actually one of the few horror movies that my girl has actually seen and talks about all the time. She's like, "Oh my god, I remember growing up watching this at my friend's house." So this, I don't know
Great,
if you watch
great.
if you watch Always Sunny. Is one of the McPoyles is in this,
Yes,
and
yes,
also one of in Idle Hands. But
yes.
and ironically enough, like I said, my other movie recommendation, Demon Knight, and this film actually both have characters named Roach in them. Fun
That
fact.
is a fucking fact. That is a fact.
So
Yep.
that's dope. This movie's amazing. I don't even know
True story.
if you've never seen it. It's like it says comedy, but it's like so
Nah,
basically
there's nothing funny about this shit.
right. It's creepy as fuck, bro. It's like
There's
basically
parts that might make you laugh, like especially if you watch it as an adult and never
run,
seen it as a
fool,
kid.
run,
But like,
right? Isn't Ving
yeah,
Rhames
yeah,
movie, right?
yeah. Huh?
Yeah, Ving Rhames. So basically, it's the story of this young kid. I forget how he gets like his mom needs like money for rent. And there's like the story in this neighborhood is like, oh, this one house, they're mad rich. They got this gold buried in their house or whatever the fuck. And so these like, Ving Rhames and this other dude, this local crew of thieves, they want to use the young kid. They were like, oh, you'll be our like bait. Basically, they dress him up like a Boy Scout or something, send him to the front door. The people that live there are this like old, stern, stuck up white couple that are like creepy and weird, kind of. And basically, they're trying to break into like, get this gold. But as
Yeah.
soon as they're in the house, they start to realize some creepy shit,
Yes.
And, like there's locks on the insides of doors and stuff.
Don't give away too much.
No, I know. So there's locks on the insides of the doors and stuff, and they're like, all right, like obviously some weird shit going on in this house. And from there, it just gets creepier and weirder, and it's not so much of a comedy. I don't know why it says that. It's very, very strange, and there may or may not be people under the stairs. And
that I wouldn't categorize that as a comedy.
But this is an amazing movie. If you've never seen it, it's creepy. It's classic, and it might stick with you. I don't know how much it holds up these days, but at the time it's like a cult classic, bro. If you've never seen People Under the Stairs, I don't know what to tell you.
I've watched it within the last 5 years.
Did it hold up?
Yeah, for sure. It absolutely held up. It absolutely held up.
All right, what's yours?
All right, so mine, since now I had two, but one's a psychological and one's a
Sorry.
well, no, you're good, and one's a slasher. So I'm gonna go with the slasher since we're on that topic tonight. So I'm gonna go with No Vacancy, which is a slasher movie that we have not mentioned tonight. Pablo, can you pull it up? If you have not seen No Vacancy, this is a great movie. It's there's nothing special, like super special about it. It's just imagine if this happened to you type of thing. And it's got Luke Wilson and Kate Beckinsale, and it's about, I believe they're like getting a divorce, or they're about to split up. They're definitely married. They're about to get a divorce or whatever, and they're not really even together at the time, but they're driving somewhere together. And they end up having to stay at this hotel, and things start to get a little crazy. I mean, I can't really say much more than that. Pablo?
Oh, I was muted. I said, oh, that's it? Yeah, I mean,
Well, yeah, I feel like I can't because
you don't
it's
want to ruin it.
well, there's nothing more like past what I said is just gonna ruin the movie. I mean,
Okay.
why you've never seen it?
I may have. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Then yeah. Then I definitely don't want to say anymore. Like, yeah, if people have never seen this movie, I definitely don't want to give away any more than what I just did. Just watch the movie. It's one of those what if this happened to you type shit. I feel like I would fare well in a situation like this. um, but yeah, definitely watch No Vacancy. I'm not sure where you can watch it, but definitely check it out for sure. Let me see. I'll look it up. No Vacancy. And then I'm gonna tell my my last trick or treat story, and then we're gonna get up out of here. No Vacancy, and I believe it came out in '99. No,
99. This is 2012.
oh, 2012. Yeah, okay. 2012. 2012. My bad.
It's a decade off, bro.
My bad. Yeah, so you can watch it on fucking Plex, which is free, Amazon Prime, Apple, So no, that's The Helpers. Why did it take me to The Helpers? It's not whatever. You'll find it. You can find it somewhere. I don't know why it's bringing up this movie, The Helpers. Now it's bringing up this No Vacancy 2022 film. Are they remaking it? Like, what the hell is going on? Anyway. So, No Vacancy with Luke Wilson and Kate Beckinsale. That's the one you want to watch. I don't know why this one keeps coming up. This 2022.
No Vacancy with Kate Beckinsale.
Yeah.
That's not coming up at all.
Oh, my bad. Vacancy. Is it Vacancy?
So it's a completely different movie than what you were just
saying? Yep, it's completely. My bad. Vacancy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I have seen this movie.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
It's because on the cover it says no vacancy, and it's like
Yeah.
Right.
So,
yes, I have seen this.
Okay. So you understand why I don't want to give away any more than what I said.
Yes.
So you can watch it on Peacock, actually, Pluto TV for free, Apple TV, Amazon Prime. So yeah, definitely watch that. It's a good slasher film, and it's a good film to see, would I survive in this type of situation? It's pretty fucking crazy. It's a pretty crazy movie, and it's a short movie. It's an hour and 25 minutes, and look, when you see the runtime for a movie, it always includes the credits and stuff like that. So the movie itself is actually going to be like 3 to 5 minutes less than what it says, So it's about an hour and 20 minutes. Short watch, definitely well worth it. So we've given a lot of great movie recommendations. Now let me tell this story to close this out. So the last year that I went trick-or-treating, there was 3 of us, and one of us stole a thing of candy. Just yanked the fucking the whatever, just stole the whole thing of candy. And then someone else did it, stole a whole thing of candy. And then so it was like the end of the night, and trust me, I had already done my years of stealing candy. I wasn't really like, I was like, nah, whatever. But then I was like, all right, whatever. They both stole a bag. Let me grab a bag of candy, whatever. So I go to this house. So it's the end of the, back when you could trick or treat till like 11 o'clock at night. And so we go to this final house, and I grabbed the basket from this old lady. No, she wasn't old. I shouldn't say that. When I was at that age, I looked at her as old, but she was probably like just not that much older than me. But and she wouldn't let go of the basket. So finally she did, and then I'm running, and all of a sudden I hear footsteps slapping on the ground behind me. The guy is not wearing sneakers, but he's very close. And all of a sudden I hear him. He's like, whoop, whoop, like right in my ear. And I'm like, fuck, he is so close. So I'm running. And the other two kids I'm with are running. And this is in Pablo's neighborhood. And there was a shortcut where it's like this steep hill, and then it like goes flat and then goes to a steep drop again, and it was like someone's backyard. So, and it takes you into another backyard onto a whole nother street. So we knew if we could make it there, we were good, because if we could make it to the hill, we would be good. And so we get to the hill, and I'm bolting down the hill, and so is my other two buddies, but the one that was in front, he's very uncoordinated and oddly shaped right at the time. So he before it hit the like flat part, he hit I don't know what happened. He must have tripped over his, because we were running so fast, and when we caught that hill, we were like literally caught air and had to land and like keep our speed going. And his feet must have just, and he started rolling and tumbling and he gets to like the flat part and like finally stands himself up and gets back and tumble. Long story short, so we run to the the um the house or whatever, and we make it. And then so the next day we go to school or whatever, and then after school, so they followed the trail of candy that fell out of the basket as I was running all the way back to not the house, because like it was the house across the street. We stopped and I took all the candy out of the basket and dropped the basket. I put it in my bag, my candy bag or whatever, and I left the basket right there in the neighbor's yard or whatever. But they knew it was us, obviously. So we ended up getting caught, me and my buddy, and we had to go apologize. It turns out it was a state trooper, and it was his wife that we stole the candy from, and it was the state trooper that was chasing me. He's like, if I had shoes on, I would have caught you. And I was like, nope, you wouldn't have. You were definitely not catching me.
Yeah, actually had three state troopers lived in that
Yeah, lived in that neighborhood.
right.
And so he's like, you're lucky my son wasn't home or whatever. I'm like, I would have outran anybody. Like, bro, I'm not getting caught. Nope. So but so that being said, so next week to start the episode, unless for I don't think we're gonna be able to get DME on next week, but definitely either the week after or the week after. I think the 22nd is what we're aiming for, and I think that's what we're gonna be able to do, Tuesday the 22nd at noon. So next week it'll be another Halloween episode, and I definitely want to get into the differences of trick or treating now and trick or treating then, because it's very different, and I have a lot to say about it. So. That being said, Pablo, you got anything else before we get up out of here? I hope y'all like my hat with my goggles on it.
Not much. Just
subscribe to the motherfucking channel.
Yeah,
Pablo's
definitely
channel.
subscribe to my channel. I got a lot more coming. If people like I just put out episode 1, actually prologue of a battle rap documentary called Cultivalsa.
Yep.
By our counterpart from across the pond. And yeah, I got more music coming, more picked aparts, more segments, stuff like that. So yeah, definitely subscribe.
Yep.
I'm trying to wait till I don't sound so congested, because if you notice towards the second half of the first episode, you can definitely tell I'm like congested a little bit. But so I was trying to wait till I'm feeling a little better to obviously do voiceover stuff. But yeah, aside from that, episode 32 is being worked on to be put back up. I feel like that is one of our better episodes. So
Let me check let me check and see if it's done yet. If not, hey Pablo, when you sent me that text that you sent me at 5:30 in the morning, was that when you first noticed it, or was that like when it first happened? Like,
I don't know. It's when I noticed it. Yeah.
Okay, so it definitely took mad long, but I did it at I started it at 8 o'clock this morning.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been 11 hours. So I'm just gonna let it keep going until it's done. But it should be back up by sometime tomorrow. But if not, definitely the next day. But it should be back up by tomorrow. But yeah, man, this has been a great episode. I feel like, I was gonna, wear some type of mask or something, but I was like, nah, I had the mask on at first with the hat and goggles on top. But I figured just the hat and the Halloween shirt, was enough. And wait till you see what I'll be wearing next week.
Hey, yo,
It's not.
pause. No.
Shut up. It's nothing crazy. No crazy costume. It's just the shirt that I'll be wearing. But yeah, man, trick or treat, yo, and creep it real.
Creep it real.
Creep it real. Trick or treat, yo. You know what I'm saying? Know what I mean? What?
What? Oh my god. Yeah.
All right. We the fuck out, dog.
Pulling out.
I think it's time to pull out.
Can we at least protect the eggshells?
Oh, protect the eggshells, everybody. We out this bitch. Peace.
Pieces. Reese's Pieces.
Reese's Pieces.